Coming to you from the award-winning Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge, PCA's 2024 Best of Leaf Midwest Cigar Bar, Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge, it's the Final Third Podcast.
Welcome back to another Final Third Podcast. I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
I'm Scott.
I'm Will.
I'm the other Will, and today we have...
Yep, I'm Ari. Rimzada.
Ari.
Just call me Ari. It's easier.
Smith.
Gotcha. See, I told you to say it right.
Yep. You know, did you watch the podcast by chance last week, Ari? Because we talked 5 minutes about how to say
I've
your
heard
last
the
name.
rumors.
Yeah,
I've heard the rumors.
I filled him in last night. I said, we had a 10-minute segment on pronouncing your last name. So that's all good.
Well, it is Smith. It is Smith. Everything but the H is silent.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show. Glad
Thank
to
you.
have
man.
you
We're
here.
glad
Thank you for having me.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Boy, I think after this morning's fun of trying to get everything set up.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's like, welcome
I don't know what's
to
happening
the shit
today.
show.
It's
Yeah.
a good thing we're all wearing light gray shirts. We'd be sweating right now through them.
Yeah, no kidding.
I can't believe Will's not over there.
Yeah, today was
Yeah, I'm okay right now.
All right, good.
Well, it
Everything's
is warm
all
today,
shiny and
you
new.
notice the humidity's up
Oh,
a
it's
little
way
bit.
humid.
Yeah, it's
But it's beautiful.
It is nice.
Well, you know
Yes.
you're going to get punished for this.
Yes.
Like, come
In like a
January
week.
1st, it's going to
Yep.
be like 10 below.
It's going to be nasty. Yeah, but
Well,
we're good for today.
So today we're going to be smoking the Aladino Corojo Reserva. This is the 100% high priming Corojo from Aladino's farm in Honduras. We're going to be pairing that with our new Jack Daniel's pick. It is in finally. So this is our Jack Daniel's barrel proof rye, 129.6 proof. So this is the one that we did with Indiana Bourbon, Dirk Fence, and to Watch Legacy Fund. So that's what we're going to do today for now, at least start now. Then we got a few other pours to
Yeah, and
get into.
I'm kind of stoked because we haven't done an Aladino cigar on the podcast in a while.
I
Maybe
know.
Fumanoche was the last.
I think it was. Yeah.
sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are great
Yeah,
sticks.
because I think when we first started, Isaiah and I did quite a few of them because we were brand new and we were trying to introduce people to Aladino. So we haven't really done any for a couple years or a year and a half.
Love it. Well, we have Ari with us today,
Yes.
and we're going to go through his application called LIQ, L-I-Q,
Yeah.
not spelled like what you think. And we're going to learn how to use it. We're going to do a little recording on that and then figure out how we can get in the cigar and whiskey pairing at Final Third into the app.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of the plan today.
I
Is
do
we're
want to
gonna
call it that
we're gonna go through
badass
that.
lighter.
Yeah, you like
Actually,
Yeah.
the
before
new
we do that,
601
that is
lighter.
really
really grab
cool
the
looking.
bottle and start pouring
Yeah.
it around here.
Yeah.
So we're going through the Jack pick that just came in. When did this come in? Christmas Eve, right? Or was it day after Christmas? I think it was the 26th.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
it was.
day
It
after
was.
Christmas,
It was.
yeah.
It was Thursday.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
6th floor.
this is going to be a good one.
Lisa ran out the back door to like go to the truck. Like she was off. She saw the truck pull in and bam.
I figured she was going out there to yell him to please keep going. Rob doesn't need the barrel.
So we posted pictures on Instagram and Facebook. You got the nice Final Third tag on the front, and then you
barrel
see
on the
there's a
back.
barrel on the back, and Dirk
Whoa.
with Indiana Bourbon's got his own.
Yeah. So if you the one thing you want to do if you want to get a bottle of this, if you want to try it first, come in here. It's good. You're gonna enjoy it. Get on Indiana Bourbon on Instagram or Facebook or Into Watch Legacy Fund, and he'll be putting them up for sale here probably mid-January, I believe. Be good to start following him now to figure out when that's coming out because you're definitely gonna want to get a bottle of this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Heliotrope.
And then talking about our new 601 Warhead lighters.
Yeah.
If you watch our Instagram, we also posted a video about the unboxing of this nice little 4-jet from Espinosa.
I did not fully unbox it because that little bastard was in there.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Rob just handed it to me.
The
I
base
took it out
doesn't
and
let
filled it
let
for
go.
him, so
Yeah.
I knew
Where
you
do
said you
get
weren't ready to
those?
fill
Those
it
are
yet.
Sweet.
There might be an extra one here if you want.
I've got two
Yeah.
more left, so I don't know if they'll be available when you guys see this show, but we got two left
Yeah.
right now.
It's a nice
Those are just
4-jet.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's very heavy.
Yeah.
It kind of like looks plasticky at first, but then you get it in your hand.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's just
That's
like
what
a
I thought
solid
when I
piece of
first saw
metal.
the pictures. I thought they were just
Yeah.
cheap, and I got them like, oh, those
Remember
are
when we
nice.
talked about ordering them? We were like, we have no idea what size these are, what jet they are. Like, we had zero information. We were just like, we all want one of those.
Yeah,
So
badass.
just
We want them.
Yeah,
I had
it's
to do
badass.
this.
Let's
I had
get
to
it.
do
And the
this
price was-
disclaimer to all you guys. These may suck, guys. For $64, they might suck. But
I mean, it's
Yeah.
almost the size of a Glen. Like, I'm just glad it wasn't like
same.
penny sized with like
or a
a
single
half
jet
jet
disposable.
Yeah.
You ever get that? Have you ever had like a bottle of bourbon or whiskey that just has that super heavy top
Oh yeah.
Yes.
topper?
Yeah.
You know,
What was that one we
and
tried
that's
that
what you
one time?
remember it by?
1792.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Bakers. Bakers is
yeah.
like
Bakers,
that.
yeah,
Bakers
so
13's like that.
Frey
yeah.
Ranch has one you could like club a baby seal. I mean, it's just
I think it was an Hacienda podcast. We went to go hand the topper, and it was like, holy shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
no.
See,
Oh,
they
what was
kind of
the
look like
Class
a
Azul ones
Azul
too?
bottle. Yeah.
Okay. I love the kind of little bit of gingerbread note I get off of this cigar. Just initial light.
So I opened the box of these last night, put them on the shelf, and it was the most barnyard forward
It is.
box I've ever had come out. You were here, weren't you?
Yeah.
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 I'm like, I've had them before a little bit like that, but this one was just like pungent. I'm like, oh, those are
Yeah.
going to
The
be
cold
good.
draw was definitely barnyard
It was.
all day long. The good, the bad, the,
The good
ugly.
hand, the good. Hey, I know that turns some people off, but if you get a cigar like that,
No,
usually it just means
cool.
it's
Got
great
it's got a cool little funk to it, man.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. So this will be our pairing, our first pairing of 2025.
Yeah.
Will be this Aladino.
And you can have
Um,
any size of the Corojo Reserva. We still have number 4s, which I can't believe we still have in stock.
Those
I know
are
someone
great.
asked me
Yeah.
about those last week. I was like,
mean,
yeah, there's still some in
There's
there.
people hunting them. So if you guys are hunting them, man, I've got 3 or 4 boxes left of those things. But we got that size. We got the Figurado, the Toro, and the Robusto. So you can try any one of those.
Great.
We're smoking the Toro.
Yeah. So we're gonna do our pairing with the Jack Barrel pick. See how long this one lasts. What are we getting
Yeah.
so far?
I'm getting this is one of the first times I've ever gotten a nose where heliotrope is actually a term I could use.
Okay.
Just that floral heliotrope. I have I got a nosing kit at home, and I was wondering what the heck that meant because I had never used that word. And I was like, I had to look it up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know when I'll use
What
this.
exactly is
what does it mean?
heliotrope?
It's a
Describe it.
it's a flower of sorts.
It's a fish.
Oh,
Yeah.
a fish.
It's,
Flower fish.
but like I was thinking, if you had like an outdoorsy cigar, even though I'm learning from you guys. Wow, yeah, like a floral would go 100% with that.
Sure.
You know?
A little bit of fresh turned earth in your cigar with a little bit of nice floral note, kind of
Yeah.
a good spring day when the wildflowers
I
are
was just
out.
gonna say, have you ever gone out as a little kid and picked a big batch of like the wildflower, like dandelion and everything else,
Oh yeah,
and then you just that's
On a
what you
hot
smell for like the
summer
next,
sidewalk.
This is like
Summer day.
just like Mike's novels he loves.
Shirt and button down to your belly button.
it's just like I want to just drink this outside on a fall day.
The thing I like
Just
about
like with the
I don't know if you guys
leaves.
have done this yet or not, but you lay it on your tongue and just kind of let it fall.
Let
it
it
just
fall.
builds all around your tongue.
Oh,
all
yeah.
the senses that we have all over
All the
our
ones that
tongue.
don't
Yes,
exist.
yes, the ones that don't exist.
I can tell you what I'm not getting today.
What?
I'm not getting beard wax and beard oil.
That's good.
That's a solid.
You
I was-
remembered this time, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I was like, I ain't putting shit in my beard this morning. Got out of the shower and said, nope, not doing it. Just
He was
comb
all
it and
oiled
go.
up and everything else. He comes in
Yeah,
and
I
he goes,
went
man,
out
all
to
I
dinner
smell
for
is
my
my
daughter's
oil.
birthday. You know, we were going to Sullivan's. You're trying to look good
Yeah.
and cleaned up, and then I come in here to have a cigar after getting cleaned up, and I'm like, I can't smell anything except
Right.
beard oil. That was terrible.
It's a dangerous game.
It's a bad day to do a blind test on myself. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna talk about the Lick app. So, Ari, let's learn a little bit about this app. So this is a tasting shared notes app, correct? Like, tell us a little bit about the app, and then we'll get into how to use it.
Yeah. So, I built. There's a lot of apps out there. For some are good for collecting whiskey. Some are for. Well, there's really none that are really good for tasting. And so I'm a software engineer, and I was like, well, nothing's doing what I want. I will go build it on my own because I can do it. Like a carpenter building their own furniture.
There you go.
So that's what I did. Originally, the idea was during COVID. So that's why it's at lick.live, because you could actually do live tasting with it. So it was going to be a website. And then I got a lot of pushback to people like, oh, love the idea, but I want an app. I'm like, oh, you just want an app? Yeah, sure. Easy, right?
Yeah, just
You just want an app? Sure.
don't you just hit the convert to
Yeah,
app?
there's a button. You can use
Just like
you can use
MP4,
AI.
yeah.
Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Hey, make this
Chat
web page
GPT,
an
yeah.
app, please.
Here you go. Just it's simple. Press a button. So anyway, had a lot of fun building that out. Like I wanted tasting notes to be easy to enter. Like I wanted to share tastings with friends and let other people share their tastings. And then I figured as we built like a bigger and bigger collection of reviews, people could use that same information to find things they like more. So like yesterday, what's fun is, because I'm not in it for the money. And I just go and just build when people give me a feature. I was talking to a guy yesterday and he's like, man, I love vanilla. I'm like, okay, I'm common bourbon note, but that's a great thing. He wants to learn more about bourbon. So I'm like, well, what else do you like? And so I was like, hold on a sec. I don't have a feature to search my tasting note. What a stupid thing. Like, why don't I have that? It'd take 30 minutes to do.
Yeah.
And I was talking with him about it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have this today. And so I pinged him because within the hour, I had the website updated with the feature. And it was really cool because I started searching like oily or leather, like if you're just getting into bourbon, typical wood notes, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be vanilla, caramel, etc., right? Oak. But then as you get more into the intricacies, you get leather, and crazy things like heliotrope.
Heliotrope.
Right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Heliotrope. Yeah.
And you can search for that, and then it shows every tasting. And then something that I had a lot of fun with was, well, how can I compare my notes to somebody else? And so I came up with a head-to-head feature. So you could compare, like, let's say, Will's reviews and my reviews of the same thing, like Buff Trace or, insert Smoke Wagon or insert something else, right? And it just shows a cute little animation and then shows what's common across the nose, palate, and finish. So the point of Lick was, how can I make bourbon, whiskey, and other spirits fun, share those tastings, and kind of build a community around, easy to share reviews.
Yeah.
And
so when so let me ask you this. So say you have like this pick, and you throw it on your website or on the app.
Yeah.
Do you put your notes in there to kind of give a guideline and then let people add to it? Or is it just like, it's all crowdsourced at that point?
Yeah, it's a free for all.
Okay,
like there's nothing. It's not like, well, Ari has
Kind of like Wikipedia for Lick.
Yeah, it's like, Ari has to do a review first.
Yeah,
it's like, no.
Well, I just didn't know if you started with any baseline. So that's
well. What was
it's
hard?
A loaded question. You know that.
Well, what's hard is like everybody's palate is different, right? So someone might say, I like leather, but then someone else might be like, no, I get ground or dirt,
Right.
or I get baseball glove, instead of leather, right? So over time, I came up with this idea of an autocomplete. So as you typed, it'll start giving you hints. So if you like CH for cherry, it'll be like, well, what cherry? Black cherry, cherry pie, cherry cordial, dark fruit, etc. Or you just type whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't gonna pigeonhole you into whatever I want you to use.
Right.
Yeah, and that was tough. Like being a software guy, I was like, well, I can make this very strict, strict.
Yeah.
But instead, I was like, nope. Not only am I gonna let you type whatever you want, I'm also going to give you like tasting wheels, and you could pick from tasting wheels and cheat.
Yep.
And that was fun.
That's
it was
a great
like,
way to learn.
That
Yeah.
is good. Yeah. So I noticed on the app, you've got, it looks like kind of 3 main sections, like your tastings. There's a collection. I mean, tastings is pretty obvious. You're going to go there, add a tasting. You're going to fill out all the fields that you've got in there, right? The nose, the whatever, all that stuff. And what's my collection?
So Lick lets you really do 3 things. One is to handle your tastings. I mean, that's a no-brainer, right? And that's a lot of fun. That's really improved since the first version. Then there's also the collection. So if you have a collection of your own, you can actually enter everything. And I've started adding barcode scanning, so we could crowdsource that kind of barcode database. So you can manage your collection. You could actually click on a bottle and add a tasting to it if you want. So you can tie tastings to bottles. You could also quickly sort through your collection and be like, oh crap, I have like 4 bottles of this. And like me, some of us, I'm sure, have the problem where we have hundreds of bottles, and you get to a store and you're like, do I have that already? And now you can search instantly, whether you already have that bottle, and if you have more than one. So that's helpful.
That's awesome. So actually keep track of what you have in stock.
Yeah.
And then have your tasting separate. And then I saw kind of this third section, and it's the tasting board.
Yeah, so the tasting board, I didn't know what to call it. One was like shared tastings. And then I didn't know. I'm like, tasting board sounds good because I plan on expanding it over time. Like saying how many reviews on Lick are whiskey versus bourbon versus maybe mezcal as the industry shifts.
Or maybe cigars in the future.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and that's what we've been talking about. Hey, I can add those features, right?
Yeah.
That's why I'm leaning on you guys about that. But the tasting board is so that you can see everybody else's tastings that have been published.
And you can choose on your own tastings. From what I saw, it looked like you had the option to choose whether to share.
You can choose whether to share or not.
So you can still use this for yourself if you're not sure about your palate. But I do tell people all the time, hey, share what you're thinking, because if you're way off base, then it's a great chance for you to get some corrective action.
Yep.
Or somebody to have even just a good conversation. Right.
Not only for the consumer, but for the producer. Like the producer, this is a great tool. Mm-hmm. They can take this if they're sitting down going through barrels. It's time to let's check on barrels. Let's see where they're at. Mm-hmm. Barrel 1, barrel 2, barrel 3, barrel 4. It's a quick way to go in and do that. You're not having to take notes down on paper.
Yep.
For the there's a lot of potential there. Yeah. And I know I think Melissa Rift at Old Forester was very interested in it. Yep. Really liked the app. Yep. So I think you're going to see more of that too, honestly, Ari.
See, I'd be curious too with a distributor or a distiller like that you're talking, would there be and of course, you being the engineer, you could probably do this, but is there going to be a place for a distiller to come in and actually have an experimental area where they can actually privatize it for themselves until they're ready to release the barrel? Like you said, taste the barrel every year. Well, it might not be anywhere near where we want to be. They don't want to promote that yet.
Right.
That might be a good option down the road. I don't know if it's already there.
Or like a commercial version.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, so my plan, just to be clear with Lick, is just to keep it free. My goal eventually is to get at least 1,000 users, and then I can get some sort of sponsorship and, put a logo somewhere so that I could have interns work on it more often than, because how it is. It's a project, right? I've thought about having the option of what's called like different levels of users. Mm-hmm. So you can, or a flag on your account that says, let's say you're a master taster, or a distiller, or, but, for example, Fred, we're in Fred Minnick's Marzipan, Club Marzipan, right? Well, Fred does all these, tastings, for the Ascots, etc. Well, wouldn't it be cool if you could see, this is a certified reviewer, Yeah. And then what would be fun is, well, what notes did I get that maybe Fred didn't get, And if I'm new to bourbon and I'm I get caramel vanilla, but I go compare it to say, Fred. And he's like, well, it won't be heliotrope. It'll be marzipan. Marzipan. It's what's marzipan, and you can learn more, just simply by comparing your two tastings. You could actually learn to enjoy the spirit that you love even more.
I thought it might be good too if you're new to bourbon and you get onto this and you're tasting something that you don't recognize. Yeah. You could go in and see what other people say, and they'll be like, oh, well, that's alfalfa, or that's, a certain char or something like that. You'd be like, oh, that's what that note is. And then now if you can relate the two together. Because there's a lot of times people just caramel.
They don't know what to call it.
And here's the thing too, right? So the cool thing is any time you type in a new note, right, it stores it. So now instead of just being caramel, there's burnt caramel.
Yeah.
There's caramel brulee. There's
Yep.
5 different caramels or 10 different caramels. So you're like, oh, wait a minute. Let me be a little more thoughtful about this and try to really pinpoint what it is I'm tasting here. And the number of notes now are great. I love that part because I start typing in, and I've done that quite a bit. I'll type in my own notes, and then it's like, it's already there, right? Or it's close enough. I didn't really need to do that. So but I think that's cool. You may have to get to a point where you have to filter some out.
Well,
but
so here's how I handle that, because I could see someone. I mean, I'm a software engineer, so there's some paranoia, because you think about security, you think someone could put, some untoward words in there.
Yeah.
So I control the default list. And so what I do is when I see something and I'm like, well, that's actually a great note, it's very easy to add it.
Yeah.
So I add them in as I see things that are missing. I've thought about maybe letting you kind of like combine yours with what's already in there. So your tasting notes automatically pop up along with what's already built in.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's easy enough to do. I haven't done it yet. Now I have to do it. I'm gonna have to make a note to do that.
Well,
Well, you
all
think
hear
about it,
people- Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I laugh because I live by my to-do list, and I've got like a lick section. I've got probably 100+ items in there of things I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, get the feature out there, then roll it out for iOS, roll it out for Android, roll it out for web,
And then update as you need to.
and then, web is the easiest to publish.
Yeah.
But then, like iOS and Android, there's just like little things, as you go through it and you're like, crap, it works on Android, but it doesn't work on iOS.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
we all have people all the time, every day, that come up to us to say, I don't taste anything. It's either good or it's not good. And that can be some people, that's for sure. But the one thing that we learned from Jackie, and then also just ourselves as well, it's a memory of a flavor that you've tasted at some point in your life. It doesn't matter if it's wrong or not. It's not wrong to you because that's your flavor note. And if you can remember an experience it reminds you of or something that might pull you to the flavor note you're thinking of. And I think that helps a lot. And when Jackie said that, it kind of really triggered, especially Scott. Scott did a great job of actually breaking it down to an experience every time he would think about it. I'm like, that's a really great way to break those notes down and figure it out.
I think a good tasting note that we should add in there is notebook paper.
Notebook paper.
Yeah.
For Isaiah.
Shout out to
Isaiah.
Isaiah.
Right.
That's a good one.
Shout
Good
out
one for
Isaiah. So since we're talking about doing this app, Ari, let's do it. Let's actually use it. So
Yes.
talk us through how to do this.
So if we're
we want to
doing
do
a
a shared.
tasting,
Yeah, let's do a shared tasting.
so we can't do shared tastings on the app.
Okay, so that's only on the web page.
It's only on the web.
So
Sorry,
you can
guys.
you can share you can share your tastings as
you
a
can
collection, right?
Right.
correct.
Okay,
I
so
want to add the live sharing
Gotcha.
to
Okay.
the app. It's a lot more difficult
okay,
because you can't keep connections open on a cell phone as easily as you can on a web
That's fair.
browser.
so we can go into this shared one here, and we can each add our individual thing in there, and then
And it doesn't have to be in your collection. You can just immediately start a tasting.
Nice.
And I tried giving a really good list of options, like not just bourbon, but rye whiskey, wheat whiskey, general whiskey, Japanese whiskey, what have you, Scotch, mezcal, tequila, even like wine, so you could, whatever you're into. The tasting notes are kind of all over the board. So, you could use Lick for anything. It's not just a bourbon app or a whiskey app.
Sure.
Primarily right now, there are a lot of bourbon and whiskey reviews. But I've got a little admin area, and there are people using it for wine and mezcal and tequila. It's kind of interesting seeing those numbers go up. So you just create that. And then actually at the end of like you doing your own tastings, we actually could do a head-to-head comparison and see how people's tasting notes were the same or different. And you can actually share your collection of tastings with your friends. So if you enable that feature, it's on by default now. You can actually get a little link inside of like, my account and share that with your friends. They'll show every one of your tastings.
Final Third Cigar is Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge. Come to Final Third for a selection of over 20 different Aladino cigars, including the Cameroon, a wonderful cigar with nice light flavors. Make sure and visit Final Third, the Aladino exclusive cigar lounge for Indiana.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. So I'm gonna do a little screen recording of
And I just
what I'm adding here. So
Oh, you gonna do it now?
I made one the other day, but do whatever you're doing, and then we'll compare.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, because I want to show everyone how this thing works here. So I'm just gonna add a couple things in here in a screen recording, and then we'll show everyone how this works and put this out there.
Insert screen recording here.
Insert screen recording here.
Yeah.
Well,
So give me some palette notes on this, guys.
I think I already got heliotrope on the
You
nose,
did.
but-
I put floral on there for
Now
the
I gotta
nose.
do that.
I do
palate.
get this subtle banana, but it's not as strong as some of the bananas, especially like the Old Forester rye bananas we've been having lately. It's just a very subtle kind of banana.
I definitely get I get a honey note. I get a little bit of mint.
I almost get like
Yeah.
honey roasted peanut.
You know what I put on there that you guys
A little
probably
bit
aren't
sweet,
going to
a
get?
little bit of nut.
Red grape.
Oh, you know, I can see that after you say it. Obviously, it's a little bit of a mind screw there, but
I get that
On a rinse and spit, I got red grape pretty heavy.
I get that cinnamon.
I get that.
I get that it's not charred. There's like almost a honey rye toast to it.
It's a
You know?
it's a rye spice too.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah,
I get a
But it's
tiny
a
bit
sweet
of lemon
it's a
peel.
sweet rye.
Lemon peel. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
it's
a
got a
sweet
very
rye.
very long finish on it, and once it does
Yeah.
finish, I get that kind of almost a banana peel,
Yeah.
kind of on the tongue.
Yeah, what is it?
And it's
Aroma,
coating.
palate, and finish? Is
So
that the
we
three?
have- I've got nose, palate, finish, and finish. Nose, palate, and finish. So give me some finishes.
Well, it's mint on the exhale.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
I don't think it's mint like
Menthol or
directly.
just mint?
I would just say mint. I don't
Okay.
think it's menthol.
So that like we said the other day,
Yeah.
it's a palate cleanser. It
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
opens your palate back up.
Yep. But I don't think it comes through directly on the palate. I think it's only when you on that finish.
That rye spice lingers, but
Yeah.
there's definitely vanilla. The vanilla is not quite vanilla candle. Like I found the more I got into various whiskeys, the more I found vanilla to be like a difficult way to describe something because there's so many types of vanilla.
Yeah.
You know, like there's artificial vanilla, there's like vanilla custard, there's vanilla candle. Like I think of Yankee Candle.
Vanilla
You
bean.
know?
See,
Yeah.
the vanilla I'm getting is kind of that combination of the banana, almost like a banana cream with the vanilla in there too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting the banana, but also the vanilla with the banana.
Yep.
Yeah. I like it.
It does have a really long finish.
It
Yeah,
does.
it's a wonderful finish.
And it does not
And
taste. I
it's-
mean, the first sip of the day, it does not taste like almost 130 proof.
No.
It's but isn't that the beauty of like Jack?
Oh, it is.
Like they're like
smooth.
masters of like fooling you on the proof. Like
Yeah, they're pretty solid.
I was in Oklahoma recently and they had the Coy Hill, you know, the special release or whatever, you know, and it was $20 a pour, just at the steakhouse. Or maybe it was a barbecue joint, but it was super cool. It was like a super cool place. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but anyway, I'm sitting with there's a couple next to me, and they're telling me how they're into bourbon and whiskey, etc. You know, but like you need to try this, and so I let the guy next to me try that. I'm like, so what proof do you think that is?
Yeah.
And like his wife is like 105. And then like he comes back, he's like, I can't imagine this is more than like this must be like 100 proof. And then I looked, it's like 133 or something. And like they're like, what? I'm like, yes, this is the crazy thing. And just go to the store and get the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof. And be amazed every time you try one that they're almost hazmat, but they drink like they're 100 proof.
Yeah. And I think Jack, you're right. Jack is like that pretty much across the board. Where
Yeah.
Old Forester, we talk about all the time. There's a lot of bangers out there, but there are some of them that drink really hot. And it's like it's a balance of whatever. And I even like the hot ones, but
Yeah.
I really like the ones
This
that
is
balance.
so
Beautiful.
coating.
Yeah. That's what I was just playing with the legs on it.
Yeah,
Just
the
coating
legs
the
were
glass and it
wonderful.
just
I don't know
sits
how
there.
it has legs like that at
Yeah.
that proof. I mean, you'd think that ethanol would just not
What's our-
allow it to be that viscous.
What's
Yeah.
the year on this one?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We're waiting to hear
We
back from them.
searched
Tried looking
a
that
lot.
up.
We
Yeah.
searched, and then we
You have
actually
to
sent it
call.
off back to Brown Foreman.
Says you
They're
can
supposed to
call
let us
customer
know.
service and get more
I asked,
explanation, but it doesn't give you
I asked
anything with the
Fred.
numbers.
Fred said he was going to call some guys and see if he could find
Okay.
out. Yeah,
I know
so-
Kevin was going to call. He actually
Yeah.
reached out to John down there.
There's a
Okay.
spice in there, but I'm not. It's not quite nutmeg,
No,
but
it's not.
but it's there. It's like in that family. It's somewhere in there. It's not
Cardamom?
mocha.
Cardamom?
That's a
No,
good. That's a
and,
good.
and,
I
and
kinda
the
feel
reason
like
I don't
there's
say
cardamom
cardamom is
I like
because
that
I
word.
just had Indian yesterday, and have you ever bit into a cardamom pod like accidentally?
Yes, yes.
And had that hellish experience.
But
Yeah,
I mean subtle. I think it does have that kind of subtle, almost
Yeah.
almost like a cardamom
Mm-hmm.
cinnamon mix or something.
yeah.
Cinnamon spice, not.
I think that's
sweet.
what I was confusing with.
Maybe allspice.
Honey roasted.
You know,
Maybe, yeah.
Almost.
But
yeah.
see, that's what's so cool is we all have said different things.
Yeah.
because
It's,
we have different palates.
When I nose it, it's chewy. Like it's
Yeah.
like I want to
Chewy.
chew on
Yes.
this bourbon. Like
Yeah.
it's got or rye. Sorry, but it's like I want to chew on this whiskey. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's savory.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
it
got it's
is.
very
Yeah.
savory to me. Yeah.
So I went through and
With Jack
I made
Daniel's
some. I
candy
made
bar.
some notes in there, and then
Yeah.
I shared it with you guys, so we can take a look at that later. But
Okay.
I'll share that screen recording as a video, and I'll put it up on this
Yeah.
episode, so you can see how to use it.
Yeah.
And then the hopes moving forward, which we'll talk about, is putting a section on there for cigar pairings.
Yes.
So what could be the final third cigar pairing section or something, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do our monthly pairing, and we'll all contribute to that pairing. That way, users on the app that may not be huge cigar
Yeah.
smokers can learn more about cigars and the complexity
Yeah.
of the flavors and profiles that cigars also offer in unison with the whiskeys, because that's kind of been a big point on the podcast for the last couple of years is pairing good cigars with good whiskey. So
Yeah.
want to
Well-
definitely bring that out there.
And on that same note, probably going to be this February, I'm going to be doing the Cigar 101 again.
Yeah.
So we'll have the whole month.
Oh,
so if
sweet.
you think about this, listen to this, you're like, man, I'd like to get into cigars. I haven't yet. That's a good place to start because we're going to talk about cigars from when they start growing to when they're rolled and all the way in between. So
Yeah.
And all
Yeah.
the various things that go into cutting and
Exactly.
lighting and
Yeah.
Yeah.
cigar
Yes.
etiquette. And
Yep. So we'll go
Yeah.
through that.
Well,
That'll
that's-
be a good one to do again.
That's something where like on the lick side, I'm very much into like mentoring and education. So like something I recently had on the site is a news and a videos section. So the news section actually provides a lot of information so you can keep on track of the like bourbon and whiskey industries.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I have videos, because I ran this bourbon bartender site that was I cover like distillery tours and things like that. But that would be a lot of fun to have like a cigar video on there. Like how do you pair, insert something here with a cigar?
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Being the developer, obviously the answer is going to be yes.
But be careful.
Is there a way that we can have password protected segments on the app?
Well, do you mean like I don't want to share this?
Only people
Not with
that log
the
into it.
Yeah, only
that are available.
with people that you would give access to it. So they would have some sort of access code to get to this
Right.
part of it.
I think you can do that. I think the way, putting my architect's hat on, the way that I would implement that probably wouldn't be a password because no one remembers passwords. I'd probably let you invite other people by email. And then if you're in that list, you would see the information.
Friends list.
So like the moment you remove them, they can no longer see it. The
Sure.
moment you add them, they can.
Okay.
So you just keep a list.
You know what I'm thinking, right?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll talk about that later.
I did want to point out, root beer or sarsaparilla is
sarsaparilla.
what I'm getting. Like
Yep.
now that I think about it, I was trying to nail down that spice, and like 4 sips
I love
in, I
picking
was like,
sarsaparilla.
See, I'm
like it's that
I've done
root,
a lot of
that root soda.
sassafras
Sassafras.
root.
Mhm.
I've
Yeah.
done that a lot. I'm not quite getting that in this as much. But I mean, I've literally chewed on the freaking root. So
Yeah.
Rob knows.
I know.
Well, but keep in
wait,
mind,
wait,
you're
that's not one you
combining
want to
it.
put on the board.
You're
I chewed
combining
on
it
the
with a
root.
cigar, right?
so it's going to change it.
going
So
yeah,
Exactly,
absolutely
that's what's
change it.
amazing about bourbon and just like any spirit.
Yeah, when
is
was the last
as
time
you drink
drank
it,
bourbon without a cigar?
What?
When was the last time you drank bourbon without a cigar?
maybe at a dinner, but that's about it. I don't ever. I mean, it's always this.
I'll point out another great thing. You have a lot of tasting wheels downloaded that you can just kind of click through and pull up real quick
like
and
the
look
wheel.
at. I think that's great. So
Thanks.
I like
Yeah.
that a lot.
I'm trying to figure out how to make it so I could zoom into those better. It's there's I should do this like on a software engineering show is like the difficulty of trying to keep the web version and the mobile version kind of in sync, and that's difficult. Just like architecturally,
Yeah.
because you want everyone to have the same features everywhere, but at the same time there's limitations. Once you get in that small screen, versus a tablet versus like a laptop or a PC, where you can do anything. Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, I'm gonna backtrack. You're right. I took a sip without having the cigar, and yes, there is that kind of almost a unsweetened root beer kind of thing going there. Not a sweet root beer, but more like the sassafras root. Yeah. Okay. Good call. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So I think we got to pivot to something really, really important.
Oh God, what?
Well, something pretty significant happened this week.
Oh, what happened this week?
Well, we know that Fred released his top 100 list.
Oh yeah.
Right?
cool.
He did.
But he kind of did something a bit unique there when he announced the winner.
He did.
He did.
He actually announced an official invitation to our own cocky Wolverine, Mr. Will Breeden,
Yes.
to join the Ascot tasting group.
Let's play it.
Hey,
I was excited.
This
You gonna
is
play it?
See if it works.
in Club Marzipan was like, Fred, this is the best whiskey I've tasted all year. And Will, if you're watching this is how I know you are a legit whiskey taster, man. Right, a legit whiskey taster. And you deserve to be a taster in the Ascots. So if you're watching this, I'd like to invite you to be a taster in the Ascots.
So there you
about
go.
that?
You heard it here first.
Nice.
Congratulations, the
Yeah.
cocky
Thank you.
Wolverine.
Oh,
You got to start wearing an ascot now.
Yes.
I know. Well, Rob told me I need to wear one today.
I
and
went. I almost ordered one for our dinner at Del Frisco's, and I completely forgot before.
You know what we need to get him? Like the tuck shirts. We need to get him an Ascot,
Ascot
one
t-shirt,
that just
like
says
a
that,
Fred.
like a digital printed one.
Dude, you just get the right ascot,
Well,
put underneath shirts, they'll be great.
I'm
in.
praying that I actually get to judge or taste whiskey and not vodka.
vodka.
He may put me on vodka to start off with, knowing Fred. He'll just put
That'd
me
be
at the bottom rung of
hilarious.
it.
It might be one of those tests, you know.
But I was very humble and just didn't know that he was gonna do that. And very grateful and thankful for everything that I've learned from being in his club. As Ari, you can attest to that. It's just so much great knowledge that I've gotten over the last year and a half with Club Marzipan, and it means the world to me that Fred's got that kind of confidence that he was willing to have me do that. So
Yeah.
I'm very appreciative. And I texted him. I told him thank you so much. It really meant the world to me that he offered that to me. And
You text him immediately, said no.
yeah.
Screw you, I'm with Alan Bishop.
I think I was screaming like a little schoolgirl. Yeah, no, but that was really cool, and I'm excited, and hopefully, I'll do a good job
You'll
for
do
him.
great,
So,
man.
Yeah.
So regardless of the fact that we all felt like dumbasses after going through Jackie's Icans thing,
Yeah.
we actually know a thing or two
We do.
about a thing or two.
That's right.
Because we've seen a thing or two.
So we've talked about Club Marzipan on here a few times and stuff like that, but I don't know if we've ever explained to people what Club Marzipan is and how you become a part of that.
Sure.
Is that open for more people, or is it closed at this point?
It's open for
Okay.
more
It's
people.
open,
There are different levels of membership. Ari and I are in the founders, which is kind of the highest membership level, has the most access, the most educational content, and then it kind of goes down from there. I don't know if there are any openings in the founders membership, but I know the other tiers there are.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
That comes and goes.
They're all different price points on
Yeah.
membership.
Okay.
And it's like 100, 50, 20, 10. I think, isn't there a free tier?
That I'm not sure.
I thought that, I don't know. Well, far be it for me to say, but I mean, just go to fredminnick.com.
There you go.
Say, how,
You know,
how can
and
look
and
into
he
that?
has a link, Minnick. I'm hoping everyone can spell Fred. Just click the link.
With today's names, we're not real sure. It could be,
Does it start with a P?
Do we need to go back to our segment last week when we spent 30 minutes trying to pronounce your name?
If you follow him on YouTube, this year he hasn't done as many reviews as he normally does, and a lot of those reviews are coming over to Club Marzipan now. So
Yeah.
that's exclusive Patreon content
Yeah.
that we have access to under Club Marzipan, which is great.
The
And
monthly tastings are a lot of fun.
we do monthly tastings. We do also educational.
Yep. And that's the key, right? I mean, Club Marzipan isn't for people who are just looking to hunt bourbon. You know, it's about people who want to learn. And Fred's all about the educational journey. And so, and this isn't exclusive to like the Founders Club tier, is the monthly tastings usually bring in like a master distiller or someone from one of those families, or even a lesser known distillery, and they'll talk about how they got started, how they got into this industry, the state of the business, and it's really educational, just like across the board. And then you do your tasting, but it's not about just the tasting; it's really learning about the industry.
But they ship samples directly to our home, and we'll get a lot of times we'll get new make to try, which is really cool. Jackson's Purchase, which is over in the western part of Kentucky, we got some of their 2-year bourbon that's obviously no one's tasting.
That was a knockout.
But man, it's just like exciting to see what new distilleries are doing. We got to try some of the new make at what's the big new contract distiller that spun off from BBC,
Whiskey House.
Whiskey House.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to try their new make, and just things like that are super cool. you
Yeah.
know? So
Nice.
been
Well,
fun.
heck yeah. I love that.
And you get to meet their team,
Yeah.
which is cool, you know?
So now that we have an ascot judge on our podcast, maybe we get a marzipan sponsorship.
Hey,
There you go.
We
can
would
always
take
ask.
1 pound of marzipan in payment a month.
we can always ask.
a pound of marzipan.
I mean, you got to start low and work up, right?
Get 2 pounds. I won't work
Diabetes,
for
here we
myself.
Okay, Rob wants
Yeah.
1 pound, so we'll get 2.
Or start low and just
So yeah,
more
we'll start
followers.
low and negotiate up, I guess.
Well,
Yeah.
like from the holiday perspective, I have a little story about that. So I'm Jewish, right? So all my friends would get something from Santa, and I wouldn't get anything from Santa, obviously, 'cause being a Jew. So there was also and this is all before South Park, so there was no like Mr. Hanky the Christmas
Oh,
Pooh. No one knew about Hanukkah Harry or any of this stuff. But I remember that I think my parents kind of like planted some like fruit looking things, and that was my first experience with marzipan. So like when I heard Fred was like, the whole Club Marzipan thing, all I could think about was being like 10 years old. And my first experience, I was like, what is this and where do I get more of it?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Yeah.
I think the first time I saw Lisa was buying some stuff for like Christmas or whatever. We were at probably 20 years ago, and we're out buying stuff, and they had the candied almond section, all the candied nuts, and one of them didn't say candied almonds, just said marzipan. I'm like, what's the difference
What's
here?
marzipan?
And we bought them. I'm like, oh, there's not much difference. It's great. So
Yeah, it's
first time I ever saw it.
It's almonds with sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my glass is empty. Are we going to pour
Yeah.
more of this, or
Well,
are we
here,
going to pour
look,
something
let's-
else?
Oh
Hold
no,
on.
we got more.
Before we move on to that, I brought something too, because we were talking about this last night at the beefsteak dinner. So
Damn it, Will.
you got this fancy
Speaking
new
of which,
my aged and or travel kit that my wife bought me for
Yeah, well, he's
Christmas.
getting that. Why don't you
Yeah.
explain this?
When we
beef
say
steak
why don't
these
we
two did
talk
not
about
buy
why-
into a Steak and Shake franchise.
Why do Ari and I have these ridiculous hats on? So we went, Ari and myself, my wife Becky, Mike, and Jen, we were all out at a beefsteak at Half Liter last night. And if you don't know what a beefsteak is, it's essentially a gluttonous, ravenous feast of meat
Yeah, pass
Just
me my hat. I
pure
need my hat.
gluttony.
on tiny little crostinis. And the goal
those were
is
building
to
blocks.
literally eat as much as you possibly can,
Yeah.
drink as much as you possibly can
Yeah.
in 2-hour time setting. That this one was.
Sounds like a challenge.
shout out to Eddie Som.
Yeah,
He
way
always
to go,
puts
Eddie.
on great events. We had $12 pours of Blanton straight from the barrel, $12 pours of Jimmy's batch, the new
Yeah, it's the
Bookers.
424. Yep.
Midwinter Night's Dram, the new one,
Yep.
$12 pours. We got to taste the 2024 George T. Stag,
Yep.
which was phenomenal. Great food, great, having fun. And then Mike got robbed on his
I did. My
Christini
Christini
Stag.
Tower.
But the guy who won shared the George T. Stag
Yeah. Good
sport about
sip
it.
with
Yeah,
the
so-
last sip in the bottle with Mike. So
Yeah.
it was a really fun night.
It was
I
a
had good
Heine
time.
bottle kill.
Yeah, it was.
It was about
yeah.
that much
Oh.
left in the bottom of the bottle again.
And by
so-
the way,
Hey, if there's something
bringing
left,
up Jimmy's
it's worth the
batch,
drink.
we do have Booker's Jimmy batch on the bar right now.
And
too.
I
Yes.
highly recommend getting
It's
it.
very,
It's a
very
great
good. It is
Bookers.
just-
Yeah.
The
It was
Master
delicious.
Distiller batch was great. This one here is just like it's one of their special ones.
It's
Yeah.
great.
I feel like it's one of the best ones, maybe since Kentucky Tea for me.
Yeah, I mean,
nice.
you're not a huge Bookers guy, right, Ari? But you
I was surprised how much I
liked it. Yeah.
because usually Booker's is too hot that it just kind of you lose it. You lose like the palate of it is like there's so much burn. There's so much burn I can't get through it. And
All right,
this was good. This was good.
we're trying to streamline here, so let's hear from one of our sponsors.
Okay. Thank you to sponsor Deadwood Live. Derek with Deadwood Live is producing top quality live edge products as well as bourbon themed furniture. If you've been in the lounge, you've seen the custom live edge table and barrel stools produced by Derek. Be sure to give him a like and follow on Facebook at Deadwood Live. That's DED Wood Live.
You know, Mike, that's what I appreciate about Scott.
My smooth, sultry voice.
Sultry
I
voice.
say, hey,
So
motherfucker, I
Rob goes to
appreciate
bed
that.
every night. He just
So-
listens to the Aladino.
balls.
We have here, and Will, there's some in that sample bottle for you there. Ari, whenever you get to it,
Oh, what are we doing?
in there, this is a new sample. This is our Old Forester that we purchased. This is the bourbon, 131.7, I believe. This is the one that we got from Hacienda.
I've heard of Old Forester.
So I brought some of these for us to try because we've all had it and we all loved it.
It's excellent.
He's got some over there. So
So
yeah,
good.
kill that. That's
I think
for
they're
you.
they're getting close to being out of
He's
it.
almost
They
out
gotta
of it,
be
isn't he?
out. Yeah. So we got these nice.
So did he do the pick, or was that a pick that he got
No,
through a
it
store?
That was
was
an
a-
Iron Horse pick.
Yeah, down in Bloomington.
Gotcha.
And
Is this a
apparently
blue
they didn't
label?
take it all. It was a blue label.
Yeah.
Yep. They did not take it all, and
He got
Antonio
win.
saw it and said, "I'll take
Yeah.
all the
I'm glad
rest."
to see distilleries
Oh,
doing
whoa.
more of that and distributors doing more of that, because it's really hard these days to buy, unless you have carry out, it's really hard to buy a full barrel. I mean, you get anywhere from 150 to 280 bottles. That's a long time in pours. So it's nice to see that the more of them are doing that, where they're actually selling off half barrels and quarter to different people.
So we got this nice new aged in ore travel set that Jen bought me for Christmas. So
That's why you brought this, isn't it?
it is.
It had nothing to do with bringing that whiskey.
Well, it did because we talked about it last night.
Okay.
But I did want to.
You wanted to bring that.
I wanted to show my Christmas present.
So that is TSA approved,
It
correct?
is
Mike?
approved.
2-ounce bottles,
Yeah.
packaged really nicely so we can throw them around.
And it also comes with a marker.
Yeah,
A
it
glass
has a
marker.
glass marker that you can write on the
Very
side of it with
nice.
to
Very
tell what
cool.
you got. So
It's only 2 ounces in there?
it is 2 ounces.
Wow.
Well, it came
It's
with a
marked at
there it
2.
is.
I think you can cram a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's marked
So-
at 2.
If Aged
Wow.
Nor wants to give us a sponsorship too, we're taking applications.
Let's go, Agent Orr.
This is so.
We all need one, though.
This is so tobacco-y.
Yeah.
It definitely
This
has
is
that.
this is like wet tobacco,
We call
and like I was trying to move away, like so that's not the cigar.
we call that too.
Right.
It's almost like the leaf.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
it was
get a
more
lot of the
tobacco.
leafy
Oh my
taste.
gosh!
This one definitely pairs almost as good, maybe as good as the Jack did with the cigar, too. This is a great cigar pairing right here.
And wood, just like
Yeah.
wet wood, wet tobacco. This is like
It's a log cabin in a bottle.
wow.
Isn't that good?
It's really good.
I haven't
It's
even
almost like a
tasted it yet.
semi-sweet maple in there, too.
My gosh!
I get a lot of the maple
Yeah.
on the palate.
Yeah,
The
not
palates,
super
yeah.
sweet, but the maple's there.
Yeah,
It's
we always
velvety.
talk up our friend Antonio and the Hacienda Vieja in Pendleton
Love you,
because
Antonio,
I mean,
Antonio, whatever.
it's just he just gets these bourbons. I mean, we pushed it
Google
out there that
My
he got
gosh!
he got a bottle of Elmer T. Lee. It's a Mexican restaurant, and he's got Elmer T. Lee on the bar. I mean, how cool is that?
Crushed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
I'm
is
not
one
gonna
of the
talk
kill.
about
This is
Elmer
a killer
T. Lee.
pick.
So I thought I'd read out at least the top 10.
Yeah.
The top 100
Let's do
bourbons.
it.
So
Starting
we'll
from
start
number
out,
10.
So this is Fred Minnick's top
Correct.
10 from his show here recently.
So coming in at number 10 was Old Rip Van Winkle, 10-year. Coming in at number 9 was Ingram Bourbon. Never heard of those guys,
No.
but
No, I
they're
wanna
on
check it
Seal
out.
Box, I think.
That's cool.
Probably not anymore, but they were.
They were.
Number 8 was Old Line Single Malt Double Oak. So the only single malt probably to make it in the top 25,
Yeah.
and it made it into the top 10. Kind of
Is that
cool.
American single malt?
It does not say, but it is double oak.
I'm guessing it is.
It
It
probably
has
is.
to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coming in at number 8, or excuse me, that was number 8. Coming in at number 7 was Larceny Barrel Proof Batch
Yep.
C924.
Oh, nice. So
Yeah,
good.
that's
Knew
really
that
good.
was going to be
Solid
there.
choice.
Fire.
Coming in at number 6 was the wild and expensively crazy Weller Millennium,
Yeah.
$7,500 a bottle. Coming in at number 5 was a very popular bourbon this year, the Little Book Infinite.
Yep.
Coming in at number 4 was Nashville Bourbon Company's their small batch bourbon.
Love NBC.
And then coming in at number 3 was George T. Stagg, which we got to try last
Yep,
night, and I
yep.
believe it belongs up there.
Yep.
Coming in at number
And
2
not in a bourbon
was Connected Spirits, which is the Nash Tucky line from, again, Nashville Bourbon Company.
NBC for the
their
win.
rye.
Two of the top 4.
And the number 1, you heard it here first.
Yes.
Russell's
Yep,
Reserve.
we
Russell's
called it.
15.
We've been talking about that for
Yeah.
a long time.
We've been
Damn.
talking about that for what, 2 months now?
You can't
Easy.
stop talking about it. Like once you drink it, once you've experienced that Russell's 15, it's like,
It's so good.
I have a feeling
my
it's
gosh,
right now.
I
It's
don't
already
know.
hard
I
to
think
find
I
to
need
begin
to
it was
try it
already
again.
practically impossible
Yeah.
to find.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
where's Dave
Flippers.
Lakes? Have him bring that in.
I
Yeah.
think I need to try it again.
The Flippers have jacked up their rates on
Oh,
it
I'm sure.
already.
Oh, I can only
Yeah.
imagine. Yeah.
But eventually, just like Pappy, I will eventually get it at MSRP.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eventually,
that's the way I
someday.
look at it.
Someday.
I'm like, but I tried it. I was able to try it, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we tried it at,
Yeah.
at your house.
Yeah,
that
well,
night,
you
yeah.
brought the bottle over. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're very
Yeah.
welcome. Yeah. Well,
It
I was out running the circuit on it. I'm like, everybody's got to try this while I've got it.
Yeah.
It's that good. Yeah.
It was that good.
Which
So
is
we
how
did
bourbon
get
should
2
be
bottles,
shared.
though, didn't you?
I've got, yes, I do. I have a second bottle.
I'll say because
Oh.
it's really hard to share your entire bottle of your one bottle you got.
Yeah.
Well,
we
we
opened
we
it.
will make
But
a
you
comment.
do, you
So
do.
the last podcast, we went through and tasted it, and I had the new bottle that was a fresh crack, and we had the old bottle. The
Yeah.
old bottle, I will like
Maybe 2.5 ounces.
Yeah, don't let it sit because it oxidizes and goes to a weird place. And
Really?
that's not
Yep.
great. Yeah.
Wow. that
Yeah,
was
it
pretty
loses the
quick then.
cherry
Yeah.
and the orange really comes up, but not in a fantastic way.
More of a chalky, dickly kind of orange thing.
Oh,
going
yeah.
on. So,
boo.
so that just means drink it. Don't let it sit
Don't
around.
let it sit.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
all
once you
Dickel-
get- once you
not
get
all
past
Dickel's
half.
bad, but
No.
Once you get past halfway, invite your friends over and just kill it.
well, you saw Fred post what they did to his Pappy.
Oh, they destroyed
They
it.
destroyed.
Yeah.
They went through like 3/4 of his Pappy, maybe more.
Yeah. So
They were just
two
going
of
to
our
town on it.
Yeah, two of our friends, Citiline and Eric Carrico,
Eric.
that are in Club Marzipan, were behind the scenes helping him stay organized, blinding, doing all the pours. Well, meanwhile, they were chugging on his Pappy 15, and it was like that much left.
And that's the reason why 6 through 10 were flipped.
We're
on
flipped,
the thing.
exactly. Yeah. So anyway,
good payment.
a couple of notes that didn't make it, but are in the top 25. Another Larceny came in at 20th, A124. Pappy 15 came in at 13th. Remus Gatsby made the top 25
Yeah,
at
that's
23.
a cherry bomb.
Hell, Starlight's Bottle and Bond Bourbon
Starlight's
made it.
bottled and bond, just straight bottled and bond bourbon.
Congratulations
made
to
it at
them.
21.
That's
Yeah.
great.
That's great for them.
Again, Still Austin made the top 20. They deserve to be there.
Yes.
Pinhook made a top 12. Interesting one, Brothers of the Leaf Toasted French Oak.
Same here.
Surprised that one was at 11. That just missed the
I
top
kind
10.
of want to try that one now because we've had the rye and the bourbon, but I've never had that one.
Shout out to our guys over in Ohio, Midwest. They made it at 22. And Jay Mattingly, shout out to those guys. They made it at the top 25 at 24.
Yeah.
So some really cool ones. Had an Elijah Craig. A124
Yep.
make it at 15. And a very good top 25, I think.
Yeah.
Love it.
Surprised,
Yeah, it was fun to watch.
I was surprised K Luke didn't make top 25. I thought K Luke would get in there.
But you know what? It's a tough list. It's a
Correct.
tough list, just to get in there, and then the rules around it, are also kind of tough.
Well,
like
you
the quantity, etc.
Well, you got Fred doing this all blind, so
Yeah.
it's like there's no label biased anywhere at
Right,
all. It's
right.
all blind, and that's gonna be tough. And that's that says a lot about Russell's 15 getting number
Yeah.
one. When we talked about seeing the label, how much we loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him picking it out like that really showed that it was a
So,
good bottle.
a lot of people were chirping yesterday that the Old Fitzgerald very, very
The
special
decanter.
13 did not make it. And I think that may have had to do with the quantity. I don't know.
It might have. Yeah.
I think if there's a certain number of barrels,
Didn't he say there had to be? You have to have more than 250 bottles available.
yes,
You
Was
can't
there like
effectively be
So that's
single
more
barrel.
than single barrel.
Was there that many millennial bottles?
Millennium had more than 200 bottles. Yeah.
Did
there's
it?
pro-
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
because
realize it was that much.
you can buy it at Costco, so that's how you
really?
know there's probably at least
Yeah, I've seen it all
1,000
around, but
bottles
I
of
mean,
it.
you
I
just
mean,
don't want to buy it.
That's
But
stupid
I mean,
price.
What's
Well,
the
you can
MSRP on it?
7,500.
Yeah, but you can get 1,500 off. It was like $59.98
What
or
a
something.
deal.
Like,
Oh,
It's only a
man.
used car
Wow.
now. Yeah.
I'm going to go right out and get one.
I saw that with the little star that they have on it at Costco, like it's clearance. I'm like, what?
Clearance.
we
like
both
Black Friday
tasted Weller
TVs.
Millennium earlier this year.
Yeah,
And,
also a big liter.
Great,
Yeah,
great.
It
great.
was delicious.
Just
Yeah.
it's the best bourbon I had with no finish.
Yeah.
Ever. Like,
But it
finish
wasn't
was just
better.
like,
It wasn't better than Russell's 15. Like Russell's 15.
of course not. No.
I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like this whole year. I didn't have dreams about it. Well,
I said it was the
Maybe
best.
you did.
I said it was the best bourbon I've ever tasted.
I might have.
Yeah.
It is one of the best I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. That's exactly.
I
I,
was-
I,
I
took
was
one
blown away.
one off the note. Just got the aroma and immediately took
Yeah.
a sip. And I mean, I said it right away.
Yeah.
Like within 5 seconds,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm pretty sure this is the best bourbon I've ever
Yeah.
tasted.
Yeah, one sip you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember like the first Russell's 13?
Yeah.
And then but every year afterward, it was kind of like meh.
Yep.
So I'm just hoping that Russell's 15 can keep it up year to
That's
year.
hard to live
Yeah.
up to. I
You
mean,
know?
something
Well,
that
will
good.
it? Will they come out with a 15 next
Yeah.
year? We don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
may not. Yeah.
That's
They
what-
did a great job. I haven't been that surprised by
Yeah.
a bourbon probably since the first time I had Old Forester 1920.
Yeah.
And I mean, I distinctly remember having that 1920 the first time and just being like, holy shit, what is
Yeah.
this? And then I looked it up and then it was like third in the San Francisco Spirits
Yeah.
competition. And it's the only one out of the top 3 that's still being made and shipped.
Yeah.
And I think
You can buy
probably
it
it's
any day, all day.
exactly. I don't know that. I feel like they've probably, kind of lost a few of the subtle notes out of it,
Yeah.
which is going to happen. I mean, you just
Yeah.
can't.
It's going to evolve. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to change a little bit, but I just remember that bitter orange peel
Yep.
and that hint of tobacco
Yep.
out of 1920. And I'll never forget that bright cherry note out of that Russell's Reserve 15. It just absolutely popped.
Well, and I think 1920 is what actually killed 1924.
Oh yeah,
1924 is great, but it's not worth twice the price of 1920.
exactly. Yeah,
And I feel like that's what kind of ruined
that's-
it for 24.
That's my calibrate bourbon. If I'm going to do a barrel
20?
pick,
Yeah.
I'll take a taste of
1924?
1920.
24?
I'll do
20.
20, so I know
Okay.
exactly what I should be tasting on 20.
Yep.
And if I'm there, not there, I know, hey man, maybe I need to sit this out or
Yep.
be in the background and not make a decision on this.
Mine's
'cause
probably Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond.
Oh,
That's
That's
just what I
solid,
know
too. That's a
really
good
well.
one.
and I
Yeah,
love
it's
that
good
bottle.
calibrating.
just recognizable bourbon.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a good point. If you ever go on a tasting or if you get a chance to go on a barrel pick, grab a bottle of something you know very well
Right.
and sip on that before you start because that will tell you
Yeah.
if you're on that day or not.
That's how you get to zero yourself.
And just
Yeah.
don't be having your ego in there. Just if it's
Yeah.
not tasting right, just say, you know what, guys, I'll be on the backside of this.
I mean, you can
morning,
still
too, don't-
contribute some,
can.
some thoughts like
You can.
what it is hitting your palate because
You can.
some guys are going to go, yeah, your calibration's really off today, or I get that a little bit. It's
Yeah.
not as prevalent as what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, just admit it. Like, hey, I'm a little off today, so I'm
Yep.
going to still tell you my opinion, but take it with a grain of salt, right?
And
And in your
also,
morning
if
too,
you're going on
don't
a pick
blast
and
your
you-
palate on your breakfast or anything.
Yeah,
you know?
that's the thing. It's like if you're stopping and having a sausage and egg McMuffin and then you have some sips, it's probably not going to be
gonna be a little different.
Yeah,
The sour beer
Yeah.
right before stag.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
sour
there
beer.
is some
Yeah.
things that will royally screw
Yeah.
you up. Like,
Absinthe.
yeah.
Well, luckily last night, the beers were included with our ticket
Yep.
price. So we all started with a beer, and I of course, got a sour. And Ari's like, "You're gonna ruin your palate for the George T." And I was like, "Probably." But luckily,
You know,
luckily we
it's
had
not
enough
like-
steak in between.
It's not like
the
you
two,
were
like-
recording.
Oh,
while
yeah, I
you're-
mean-
you're-
There was no
Yeah.
pics or
Yeah.
anything.
It's
It was
like-
for your enjoyment.
There was photo evidence, but there was.
like
Yeah, we
anything.
consumed enough steak. So
Yeah.
Well, and locally here, so we've been talking a little bit about beer here. So we've had kind of a bummer couple weeks here lately. We've got
Yep.
Triton Brewing closed down, Scarlet Lane's closing down if they
Oh,
haven't
Scarlet
already
Lane's
closed down.
closing down?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh.
And then
tomorrow will be their last
Well,
day.
Metazoa is no longer making their own beer. It's all going to be
I think they're going
contracted
through
beer.
the 31st, Scarlet Lane. I think
They
they've
might
got a
be.
new, I think
Scarlet
they're going
Lane's
all the way
Those are the
through.
three big news.
They're
in
basically
Central
closing
Indiana.
it at midnight.
Do you know who is going to be brewing for Metazoa now?
I don't,
I
but
don't
I'll
know who
find
they're
out.
contracting from, but
I'll find out because now
I didn't know about that till last night.
I didn't know about that
Wow.
until you said it.
Yep.
So because we have our
Breaking
products are
news.
there now. We have our treats and leashes and collars are in their little.
It
gift
doesn't
shop
sound like
area,
they're looking
so
to close, but I think someone's
Yeah.
going to do contract brewing
Yeah.
for them.
It may just not be their focus anymore. I mean,
could
they
be.
have a great tap room and like they get a lot of business in there
Yeah.
throughout the week, even
Well,
during lunch. So
they pretty much running out of space,
yeah,
and they don't want to lose that space they
Right.
have because it's got too much.
Well, and they've
great
got good
outdoor
recipes,
space.
right? I mean,
do.
look, you can. What is it? The Hopopotamus?
hippopotamus.
Yeah,
And
that's
the
it's a
high
great
fruit.
IPA,
Oh, yeah.
and you could just send that out and have somebody else just take care of it, right?
Right.
Turn your place into experimental,
Yep.
Yeah.
right? Have 2 or 3 taps. You're doing experimental beers, and that's
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
But I mean, Triton closing just breaks my heart
Yeah.
because I have so many memories in that tap room at that brewery.
And it was the only one in that whole
I
area.
would
at
take
all.
my kids
Yeah.
there every Sunday when they were little. I'd get them ice cream, root beer ice cream floats.
Mm-hmm.
They love going. We get a pretzel. Whenever I'd go run at the Fort Harrison State Park, I'd always do my run. I'd beeline over, have a pint.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Yeah.
it really sad. That
Kind
they're
of bummed. I
closing
mean,
down. Yeah.
I remember their summer sours were always unique and great every time.
Well, they made Goza popular around
did.
here,
They
100%.
they had some big boy barreled stouts that were awesome.
yeah,
They had
yeah.
a black IPA that was pretty solid.
Wasn't a big fan of Rail Splitter because it literally just gave me a headache.
Oh,
every
see,
time
I
drank it.
love Rail Splitter.
But that's
I
the thing
liked
is
it.
that it's got a cult following. People
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so hate to see that. I
Yeah.
mean, hopefully they're going to be around doing something else, but it's kind of a bummer. A little bit.
Yeah,
of a
we'll
bummer.
update you as we find out more behind Metazoa.
There
and
is
the rest of
questions
them.
about with Scarlet Lane because I think Trax is in the same building.
They are.
Yeah.
And one
I
of the
don't think-
reasons that they were getting out, there was a couple reasons. They said one of the owners had some health issues
Yes.
that just turned out to be more complicated. So obviously
Yeah.
we, send out thoughts and prayers for the owner and that the health situation gets
I believe
resolved.
It's Elise.
Elise.
Yes. Yeah.
But then also they were told, oh yeah, we told you, that you had to do all this stuff when you opened in 2013. And now we're coming back and telling you got to do like another $100,000 worth of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Building-wise, yeah.
Really.
But I wonder if that's based on the brewing side, not the restaurant side for Trax.
it could be, who
You know,
knows?
Trax has got
Yeah.
the front half. If they're just renting the building or part of the building out, they might be fine.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. That stuff can be like parking lot. It can be,
But
it can
the
be HVAC and
Exactly.
It can be sewer, which
But
is
think
even
about
worse.
that though with Trax, they could move anywhere and still kill it because they're doing a
Oh,
great
yeah.
job. So
Yeah,
it doesn't
they
matter
are.
where they move,
Yeah.
they're going to kill it. So
Yeah, I think they'll be able to move pretty easily
and
if they
honestly,
have to.
McCordsville would be stupid to let them go.
Yeah, I
because-
kind of wonder if the town wants to get rid of that building and do
They
something.
might.
I mean, we've seen what happened at Fisher's, what happened at Carmel before that.
Yeah.
As these towns grow, they got to kind of figure stuff out. So
I mean, look at Taxman in Fortville here.
Yeah.
They put their building up. Beautiful building. If you ever get a chance to walk through it, it's absolutely gorgeous. Right next to the railroad tracks. And the first time they opened up, they had all their glassware along the wall on the bar. And the train went by and knocked half
it
of the
all off.
glasses
Knocked
off.
it all off,
Shattered them.
yeah.
It's like, you're that close to the tracks. I mean, Scar Lane's even closer to the tracks.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, you sit out there by their fire and you're literally watching, you're 20
Yeah.
feet away from the track. So,
Yep.
Yeah, that still
Shaking up your
happens
dinner.
at Taxman. They'll
does.
still lose a glass.
Oh, they still
occasionally.
lose glasses?
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah. You don't put them all the way against the back of the wall.
Well, I think
they'll
they
come back.
initially they put some rubber gaskets on the
Yeah.
shelves to kind of give a little bit of bounce, and it helped a
Yep.
lot. But that sucks. They're still having that problem.
Well, at least they don't have Jim working there.
Well, I just want to say this
right?
cigar,
I mean,
Shout out Jim.
Might as well.
this cigar is just awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it is smoking slow for me, but
Same.
The
good.
wild thing about this cigar is
you and I are a little
nicotine
different.
Yeah, this is not
Yeah,
normal for
I'm
me.
slow too. But the nicotine content on this cigar is one of the higher nicotine contents, other than the Fumanoche from Aladino. But it does not smoke strong at all.
No,
not
no.
at all.
Balanced.
It's a nice, complex
But
flavor.
nicotine strength
yeah.
definitely.
It's a different thing.
Yeah, it definitely
is.
pumps up. I know I should be slowing down on this because it'll start
It might hit
it'll
you.
start hitting
It'll
me.
ramp
Yeah.
you up
Yeah.
in the final.
So it's all right. We're going to a 6-1 green to light the palate up next.
Hey, that's all right. That is Curo, man.
So
and you got
Heine-
the Laranja back in.
Yeah, the
Or not
Laranja.
the,
That's a good one.
yeah,
Escuro.
the Escuro.
So the Escuro actually won Cigar of the Year, I think like 3 or 4 years ago. And we had it when we first opened up. No one really bought it, so I kind of pulled it away. But now we have such a wide range of people that are in here all the time that like full-bodied stuff. I brought it back in, and it's smoking great.
It is so good.
It's
So-
the earthiest
so
cigar they
good.
make, I think.
Yeah, I had it yesterday or day before. I thought it
Yeah.
was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
great
Heine, we all know Heine's favorite cigar because it's like the only thing he takes home.
What?
Well, which one?
I mean,
Because
they
it kind of
just
switched
changed.
up.
He just
It's gone to
changed
the
it.
red.
Well,
gone to the red.
okay. Well,
It was the
A.
big
was the
A.
big red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So comparing this one to the Big A, how would you compare this to the Big A?
I will say the construction I think is a little better. It's a slower burn.
Yeah.
But then we also found out that the A is more of it's not a whole leaf. It's more of what did Jeremy classify that
Chop.
as? Chopped,
Yeah,
basically.
kind of. Yeah, it's usually like
and-
half leaves and some
Yeah.
of the other. Yeah.
But
But it's also half the price,
correct.
so that does help.
But I would say that the taste notes on this are more complex than the A. The A has almost like a distinct solid flavor all the way through. It doesn't ramp up. It doesn't die off. It stays nice and true all the way
Sure.
through the cigar. Burns real well. Lasts quite a while, especially if you get the
The
Churchill like
larger
I
ring
do.
gauge, yeah.
This, however, though, I think the profile is a little bit more complex. You get a little bit more flavor out of it.
I was gonna say I'm getting down towards my final third, and it's getting stronger for me.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
much more prevalent on a lot of those hay notes on my retro.
And then you get the draw is more rich, whereas on the A, it's more of a medium draw.
Okay.
Where it doesn't it's not
See you,
like
man.
mouth filling.
Because I've smoked plenty of the A's, but I just don't smoke them as regularly as you used to,
Yeah.
so I'm not as familiar with the profiles that come behind those. So
I will say the retro on this, as you get towards the end, it's giving me kind of a multi-grain bread.
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. But I thought it had a little bit of bready note at the beginning.
It's
But
still
it's not
got a little
peppery.
bit of pepper spice to it, though.
It does.
It's not a
Yeah.
pepper bomb like say the red or anything
No,
like that is on
no.
the retro.
No, this is
But-
one of those ones the pepper just continues to creep up.
Yeah.
It's like right now, it's like I
So
I think we should explain to Ari what we're
Yes.
talking about when we
Yeah.
say retro, because I think he's looking at us like he's
Oh, so
going
do
into
I-
outer
do I like
space
a-
right now.
Do I have like a dumb look in my eyes?
You'll understand it with the
Is A the
whiskey
Aladino? Is that what when you say the
No,
big
it's
A?
it's a McAuliffe, right?
McAuliffe
Yeah.
A.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's just got a big A on it. That's
talk
that's
about
the
it,
type
Will.
of cigar. But yeah, talk about retro.
So
Now I'm
retro
on the same page.
retrohaling is basically a way to get a different flavor profile off your cigar. So you're basically taking in a puff, but you're blowing it out through your nose instead of your mouth.
Yeah, you still don't inhale.
You still
Please
don't inhale, but it comes out of your nostril. So usually you'll get a blast of some sort of pepper spice. Could be red pepper, could be more subtle like a white pepper.
It's like nosing, effectively.
It is.
Kinda,
It is.
yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're kicking in your olfactory senses.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what it does is, if you just put it in your mouth, pull it out, you're going, oh, I'm tasting this and whatever. But the
Yeah.
nose is what kicks in
Right.
the consistent, actually real taste of a certain flavor.
But
note.
that's a
It's
huge
it's the
part.
opposite of the stuff your nose right down to the bourbon, but breathing
Right.
through your mouth.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? That's
just
it's
backwards.
just the backwards version
but
of
it's
that.
the whole. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's inverse nosing.
Yep.
Yeah, it hits all your
It's-
senses.
Now, it's
Yeah.
definitely something, since
And
I know
and
you're not a cigar smoker traditionally yet, we're going to
Right.
get you there sometime.
Yeah, one day.
It's not something that, like, first cigar, you go, oh, I'm going to blow it out my nose. So, like, unless you smoked a bunch
takes
of
some
cigarettes
practice.
doing it,
Yeah.
you're not going to get there.
It takes a while to kind of get to where you can just do it any time that you want to.
Yeah.
You got to train yourself, because otherwise you're going to suck it down in your lungs. You're going to
Yeah,
choke
otherwise
like
you'll
crazy.
breathe it in.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
You'll only do that once or twice.
Yeah.
And, then, you
And
won't
don't do it on a
again.
pepper bomb cigar,
Yeah.
a super spicy
You'll know when
cigar.
it's wrong.
your eyes will start watering, and you'll just be like, "That was a mistake."
That's my favorite thing to do.
That's how Rob wakes
I like
up in
when
the
my
morning.
eyes water. I'm like, oh, that was a good retrohale.
I can be taught. I can be taught.
Well, I'm a little. My glass is empty. What are we
Yeah,
gonna do now?
I'm empty
guys?
too.
All right, well, let's move on to the Four Roses.
So while we're moving on to that, do want to shout out again about memberships.
Yes.
So memberships
going well so
are
far.
on sale
Yep.
right now, only till the end of January.
Yep.
Obviously, if you got gift cards at a final third, those are absolutely eligible to be used to help pay for membership. Right, those are as good as cash.
Same as cash.
Yep.
Some of these benefits that we talked about, you're going to receive a gift when you become a member.
Yep.
There's going to be at least four member only events. One per quarter is the goal. You never know if one could get snuck in there as an extra or something.
We are working on a couple of really cool gifts we're hoping that actually we can get. If we can get those, you guys are going to like them.
That's fantastic.
Firm
So
handshake.
you're going to get a quarterly credit applied. So when you come in, you spend some money, whatever. You're here for the event. You're going to buy a box or something. You're going to have a credit.
Yep.
I don't remember. Were we saying that credit amount? Because
I don't
YouTube,
know if
on
we
YouTube.
legally can on YouTube.
yeah,
Let's not.
YouTube has
Inquire
things there.
within.
Inquire.
First
Yeah,
floor.
feel free
Yeah.
to send a message.
So,
right.
so really, 40% of your entry for the membership
It's coming
goes
back to
towards
you.
Coming back to
credits.
you.
Now
Yes.
you have to use each one of those each quarter.
Yes, it's use it or lose it for each quarter.
Yes.
There's going to be some additional benefits. I think there was something about a pour, a store.
So you get a barrel pick every quarter. You get a free
every
pour.
quarter, a free
Yep,
pour.
Yep.
And
Well, it's not a free pour. I can't legally
it's an
say free
included.
pour. It's
Included
included in your system.
membership.
Thanks, buddy.
And then you're also going to get first access to exclusive
Limited
cigar
release.
releases.
Yep.
Limited releases are going to be for members first.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked about this. There's still going to be events that are just for everybody.
There will be.
Lots of them, right?
We're going to do
bringing
the same
in.
kind of events for
They're
everybody.
not
but there
taken
will be
away from the
special.
regular customer base.
Yeah.
Or
This is
everybody that comes
additional
in
stuff,
We're gonna
right?
try
So
to do
this
some
is going to be
special stuff.
more and more more in depth, right? More personalized. There's going to be some exclusive podcast content
Yes.
for members only as well.
Yep.
As we get closer and closer to that 500 and hopefully this next year, that 1,000 subscriber mark on YouTube. Quick note, subscribe. It helps us.
Yep.
We
Share to your
appreciate it.
friends.
Please
Talk
do.
your
Share to
buddies
your
into
friends.
it.
Tell them, please subscribe.
my frustration from trying to set this up today also came from I spent half the morning building a PNG file as a subscribe button that looped that I could put up during this moment
Straight to YouTube.
right now.
just to be able to do that. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully starting first of the
Producer
year, we're going to
issues.
try
Yeah.
and
Our
go
producer's a
live.
little on tilt this morning.
We will be going live come January, February.
Yes.
and
So the
year
goal
on,
is to this next year to be live. So we are live right now during open hours here at Final
Yes.
Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge. We've got a
Sundays
speaker
at
set
1.
up, so everybody in here has to listen to our, stupid voices, and but it's fun. We're
We
having a
haven't
good
had
time with
anything
it.
thrown at us yet.
That's
So,
true.
that's good.
That's
Not
true.
yet.
Nobody's
There's
giving us
still
any kind
time.
of shit.
Nobody booed and left.
But obviously, we know that as we hit like that 500,000 mark, we're probably gonna have to tone our language down a little bit.
Probably.
Yeah.
But
But we'll have
not
some
in the
fun
special
episodes.
content. So
No,
for
no.
members, if you like to hear us cuss up a storm and tell terrible things, that's
Yeah.
when that will be
Sure.
happening.
Well, and something you mentioned, I want to make sure I clarify. With membership, what you get, like you said, you get first dibs on special release cigars.
Yes.
What I'm going to be doing though is I'm going to be reaching out to the members saying, how many of you guys do want a box of this special release? Like the Knuckle Sandwich 57 is going to sell fast.
Yeah.
I don't know how many I can get, but if I know 15 members want a box, then I can ask for 30 boxes to have some in here for everyone else.
To
I'm
give you
going
the
to try to get
opportunity
what
to
I
get you an
can
entire
for everybody.
box.
But,
Where you
but
might
like
not
last
have
year, I think the Knuckle Sandwich 56, I think it got 20 boxes. I could have easily gotten 50 boxes and sold them
I'm pretty
no problem at all.
pretty sure we sold all those before they
Yeah.
They were sold in like 5 days.
I think this table could have bought the majority of them.
Actually, you're right. Actually, almost all of them were sold
We all
before I
took
even put them
one.
on the shelf. So that's something we want to do, but we don't want to take away from the regular customers that can't afford or don't want to be a part of the membership. So we're still going to try to get those, but if it's a super limited one, you may only be able to get it as a member.
And I do want to call out something about the membership, because I think this is what makes this membership a bit unique compared to other cigar shops.
Yeah.
Right. There's no lockers. There's nothing like that.
Yeah.
There is nothing about your membership that you gain by every day coming in. There's no,
right.
there's nothing, right? There's no
Except
no,
for,
you
know,
just
community.
get a community. I mean, all the normal stuff,
All the normal
right?
stuff, yeah.
But I know that there's some people that live like an hour away and they
Yeah.
come up here once a quarter.
Yeah.
If you're interested in some of these special events, right? That's kind of the idea, is to make it more experiential. So it's a destination for the members. You know, obviously we might get some sort of online community going. I don't know. We haven't talked about that yet, but something to be able to interact even when we're not at the shop. But you're not going to lose anything, because I've heard some people say, well, I don't come in often enough. I said, well, interestingly enough,
Once
this
a quarter,
membership, it's a once a quarter thing with the event.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
and if you're going to spend $100 while you're here, then you're getting your whatever dollar amount it was.
whatever it
Damn
is.
it.
Yeah.
Bleep that out.
Well, and
Bleep that out, Mike.
hopefully, like, we can do some tastings, members only tastings, where we use lick during the tasting. We can go through
Absolutely.
and do that. That'd be
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what we're drinking now.
That feature now.
Yeah.
All the cigar stuff.
Yeah. So
How do you do that?
Ari came up with kind of a good idea. We thought we would just
Powers.
look at Four Roses, which is what we're drinking now. And this is a Four Roses classic single barrel, 100 proof.
Yeah.
This is a first floor
Okay.
barrel.
Yeah.
So we thought what we'd do is just try to do a comparison between what we say. We could go
the
through
first floor, maybe the fourth floor, and the sixth floor.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, this is an experiment you can do at home very easily. The nice thing about Four Roses single barrel, we're not talking about the harder to find, you know, store picks of Four Roses. So just 100 proof Four Roses single barrel that you could buy at a Sam's Club, a Big Red, a Crown, a Sobro, what have you. If you look and you read the label on the last two digits, you'll see a number and a letter. But it's that first number that tells you what level of the rick house it was in.
Okay.
So, you know, like if you see 23-1E, that's number one. It was on the first level, and then it was E back. So 5 barrels back. Okay.
So-
and then it goes all the way up to 6. So, something that you'll find is that even though it's a single barrel, it's the same mash bill, but as you go through the different levels of the rick house, it'll taste different at the same age, same mash bill. So I have found, from my experience, has been the lower in the rick house, the spicier it is, and the higher, the sweeter it is. Now,
Okay.
I have
Want to explain
heard,
why the level.
I
of
have
rick
heard
house
the
is different?
opposite. It's the amount of air exposure, you know, so
Temperature,
you know,
heat
rises.
temperature,
Yep.
you know, if you're further down, you tend to be colder, you know, versus more, you know, right? Heat rises, you know, middle school physics, right? So, do they have physics in middle school? I don't think they do. But anyway, you learn heat rises. You learn heat rises. The point is, you're going to age faster the higher up you are,
Yeah.
because
Because
you're
of the
going to have
temperature
more
variations.
ingress egress out of the wood, which makes sense
More weather,
because
everything.
most of the time your wood, the sugars, the wood sugars are from going in and out of the wood, right? So you should have more oakiness and you should have more sweetness if you get more wood exposure,
Yeah.
right?
Well, Glenn Fiddick did this one year over in Scotland. They actually created a flight of like 5 different barrels that they had. One was in a rick house, was all wood.
Yep.
Nothing, no concrete floors, anything, all wood. One had concrete floors. One had all metal racks. One was dirt floors, and they had all of them. It was the exact same mash bill all the way
Same
through,
mash
bill.
and every one of them tasted
Same barrel entry
totally
proof,
different.
etc.
Everything was the same.
yeah.
And it was really kind of cool to see how
Yeah.
the different style of rick houses do different things. I mean, like Whiskey Acres uses the grain silos and stack them in there. I'm like, that does something different too.
Yep.
It's really cool. Everybody can be unique, even though they might all make the exact same mash bill.
Yeah.
It's really
so
cool.
I would think like you. I would think the higher level, the 6th floor, would bring more spice intuitively to my head. But I'm drinking this first floor, and it's spicy as hell to me. I mean, for 100 proof, it's got a lot of spice.
Well, I know I say it a lot. Four Roses is not my jam because like most of the Four Roses stuff come up across really a weird floral kind of thing going that I don't like.
I think
This
it's
one
their
does not
yeast.
have as much of that. It could be.
I think it's their yeast
I'm
that
getting
has that
floral
unique.
in this, but I'm also getting, like you said, the spice, and it's actually a little bit more
Nice
balanced.
spice level for a
Yep.
100 proof whiskey, man. It's
Yep.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
So
I
my-
can see it says apricot, pear, cinnamon, toasted oak, and rye spice
That's actually a great
is
call.
the notes that they have on the back
That's
of the
a
bottle.
great call because I think I get all that.
That pear is unique.
Yes, it is.
Getting that pear flavor in there.
Yeah. That's a
Pear.
It's good.
I have a vodka story about pears, actually.
Oh goodness.
Well,
Go
Will's
ahead.
about to be our vodka connoisseur.
Right, he's
I mean,
going to be a
soon,
vodka,
maybe.
the Ascot vodka taster.
Yeah, I mean, like, how the hell do you taste vodka and judge it?
I
You
don't-
just should not taste
tastes
anything.
clear.
I
Like-
taste nothing. 100.
Hopefully Fred's not listening, but I came before I got into bourbon. I was a vodka guy, absolutely 100% a vodka guy. I could tell you a wheated vodka versus a potato vodka versus a rye vodka, and I ended up teaching software engineering to former coal miners in Kentucky, and they introduced me to bourbon. I was never like, all I could taste was bourbon, or pardon me, whiskey. I think the first time I really had bourbon, and this is a shitty thing to say, but I had like 23-year-old Pappy. Some guy poured me a full glass of Pappy, and all I could taste was like apple. And that's all I said, this is lost on me. I was like in my 20s. I'm like, this is clearly a special thing.
Yeah.
And you should not let me drink it because I don't understand it. I didn't, I had a 20-year-old's palate. I didn't know whiskey or bourbon, and it made a huge difference for. And I gave my friend the Pappy. And this is, and
That's a good friend.
yeah, he was very happy.
Well, that would have been over 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
This is
Wow. I turn 50 next year. Jeez. So now I actually understand it, right? With lick and everything else. But
Yeah.
I've done this experiment, the Four Roses one, just because it's so easy to do. For people who say a lot of bourbon just tastes the same, and I'm like, let me show you the difference that just simply the position in a warehouse makes, just in a rick house. And they taste it and they're like, oh my gosh, I never realized bourbon had all this complexity. And you'll find people that'll seek out, a first floor versus a sixth floor. And I think it also helps you with the single barrel experience. I mean, like we talk about Russell's 15, we talk about a Weller Millennium, we talk about allocated and unallocated, although everything in bourbon seems allocated these days.
Getting that point.
But I think if you understand some of the process, just like at a basic level, you can find single barrels that really sing to you, that really match your profile.
yeah.
And you can really take advantage of that with stores that go like, hey, we have a single barrel, and it says like you can rewrite on that Jack pick that you've got, that this was what was it, warehouse 1 but 6th floor,
Right.
and you can read that and go, you know what, I've heard that it's sweeter if it's on the 6th floor, and I like sweeter bourbons, less spicy, so even though it's a rye, it'll be a sweeter rye.
Yep.
And to that point, with the Jack Daniels pick, I just want to backtrack on that. If you come into the lounge and try a pour, walk outside to the outside patio and look at the barrel. The barrel's out there, and you can see the staves in the center. It's so
Bulging,
swollen
Yeah.
and just gnarly, and that's what sixth floor
All
does.
the dried liquid
Yeah.
that's on the
It
outside.
just drives everything into the barrel in the
Yep.
summer or in the winter and pulls it all out in the summer. And the barrels just don't know what the staves are like. They're
please.
stressed to the max. It's a cool thing. I mean,
It is.
I saw it. I'm like, oh, that's got to be a high floor.
Now, I'll
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
Four Roses, they've done this kind of experimentation for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, when they did their single barrels, and then they came out with their 4-letter system, right? That had their yeast and their mash bill and like all that stuff as part of their 4 letters, and explanation on a card on each bottle. So they're kind of known for doing this. Hey, we're gonna teach you by way of selling you this bourbon what some of these factors mean to the flavors.
So I'd be curious to talk to them if that bit them in the foot or if that actually was a good thing because there are
There's some
people
Four
that literally
Roses
hunt
lovers. Yeah.
like 2 different letter combinations. That's all they'll hunt.
2 mash bills, 5 yeast strains.
Yeah, so
Yep.
you got
You
however
got
many
10
that comes up.
combinations of
Yeah.
recipe you can have.
Yeah.
And they're all different, man.
They really
And
are.
Some I like, some I hate.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
some I don't care for.
So how do you want to do this? Do you want to go straight to the 6th floor, or do you want to work your way to the 6th floor? Do
Let's-
you want to go 1 to 6?
I'd say
to
we
see
go-
the difference.
You can try 4 and 6.
Let's go
you know?
4. Let's
Okay.
go middle,
You know,
and then let's go to the 6. Yeah.
And I think over there we also have a 6th floor single barrel, like the true, like not just 100 proof.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
Barrel
so
proof.
you
let's see what
get
we've
the
got
barrel
here.
proof.
I have an
version of it.
I brought an OESK from Elite. That was a single
Oh.
barrel pick.
Is that
Was
the one
yours
that
the
I got
6th
for
floor,
Will?
or was that the
Yeah,
first floor?
That was delicious.
Yeah,
That
I've
was
got a
the
little
first-
bit left. So
First 4 roses I ever had that I loved.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I
yeah,
brought some of that we
think
can kill.
The 4th floor, I didn't arrange as easily available, but it should be like 4D or something. Is
Is
that
that
it?
5th floor?
Yeah.
4th floor right there.
That's 4.
D would be 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is 4 right here.
D is the
This
barrel
might be a bottle kill.
Oh, it's the depth.
depth.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Going from A to
Buy more.
however many.
Gotcha.
Who's up?
I am. A little bit. Perfect. That's what I just want to taste. Yeah. Thank you.
Pass her around.
You can pass it, Ari. That's cool.
Man, that's actually pretty good.
Which
I like
one?
that.
Oh,
That was actually pretty
the 100
good.
proof?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, the 100
So
proof.
this one's going to be a little higher proof, right?
Yeah, that's
No.
the OESK from Elite that I brought.
Oh, is that the OES?
Yeah, that's the OESK.
Oh,
4th.
okay.
Maybe I'm missing the 4.
I thought I had.
Oh, I didn't see those 2. Hang on.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fifth floor on this one.
Oh, so we're trying a different one right now.
That's
Okay.
the floor?
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll bounce around.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
fine.
We'll go 5 then 4.
We'll be able to remember.
Well, I mean, I think the question ends up being, you know, like, is it sweeter? You know.
Yeah. This
What's
is
what's the
is
proof
one
on
I
that one,
love.
Scott?
Oh. That one's good.
So
This says 120.
this is
gotcha.
higher proof
60.2.
because it's a
higher
single
proof,
barrel, but
You can get it on the nose.
it's not as spicy as the first floor one.
It's
No.
sweeter.
It's sweeter, yeah.
Oh, here,
Yeah.
hand it to me. I didn't pull myself in.
Oh, okay. And then I've got the 100 proof 4th floor right here.
Here, I'll try the.
Yeah, that's the 100 proof, right?
Yeah, definitely not as spicy.
No, it's
No.
definitely sweeter. But then the nice thing about the higher proof is it still pulls the spice level up, but it's more
Right.
of a heat as opposed to a
Right,
spice.
ethanol instead of
Yeah.
instead of spice flavor.
But you can't escape. You can't escape the mash bill and the yeast.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But a sweeter version of it is pretty fun.
It
you
is.
know?
It is.
Well, I mean, like we talked about, even with that Russell's 15, just getting down to the last half of or less than half of the bottle.
The bottle. Yeah.
Changed it, right? I
Yeah.
mean, just oxidization.
yeah,
like
'cause I
this-
think Will, you said when we first tried it, you're like, "This is fantastic," but the finish is really fast. But as you get into the bottle, it actually extends out longer. And then I saw one of the first notes on Lick app was, what was it? Long effing finish. It's like, okay, all right. So there's
Yeah, so I think that's a funny, a quick little story to tell. So at the end of the Fred's Top 100 tasting, it came down to the Nashville Barrel Company Rye and Russell's 15. And he was going back and forth and going back and forth and going back and forth. And I think he was leaning towards Russell's, but he's like, he kept getting pulled in by that rye.
Yeah.
And so he said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So he took his phone out and he started a timer on the finish. He's like, I need to see which one's got the longest finish. And the Russell's 15 outlasted the Nashville Rye by at least 20 seconds.
Wow.
On
Wow.
the finish. And that made his decision. I mean,
Yeah.
and he was like, I'm done. All right, that's it. I told you when he went to that, I said, shit, this is probably going to
it's going
be
to ruin it.
bad for Russell's
Yeah.
15 because I thought the finish wouldn't be as long as a rye finish, but it held up. So
Yeah.
it was good. Yeah.
This is
Wow.
this is also pretty good. I do find that at the end of the finish, good 15, 20 seconds,
Yeah.
it almost goes to a very, very clean spring water
Yeah.
note, which is odd. I don't think I've ever had that out of a bourbon before.
If you get a chance, try the just the regular 100 proof.
Yeah.
We will.
Grab that.
Yeah.
Just
We'll pass that
We'll
next
pass
after
that.
we get done with this one.
Because all
I
things
see where you're
That's
considered,
that dump cup.
yeah.
you can see how similar it is. Like even at the same floor, yeah, it's a little bit more complex because you're gonna get that with the higher proof, but the sweetness level stays about the same.
Yeah.
You know, which is interesting because that spice is gone.
Yeah.
It's there, but it's in the background.
it's
and you
not
get
nearly
the,
as
the caramel
prevalent.
and vanilla
Let me hold
notes. Just
And we talk about all the time, we talk about bright notes,
start getting
dark notes.
emphasized.
This has got the bright notes.
Yeah.
It's all those things that just kind of, I feel like what it does is it engages your palate, opens your palate up.
Right.
I like it. And I'm now smoking the 601 green.
Mm-hmm.
I jumped into that one, and actually it's pairing really nicely with this one.
Okay, so this is 4th floor 100 proof, right?
Right.
Okay, I'm not there yet.
Here you go.
4D. So it's
I don't want to waste
4th
this.
floor, 4 barrels back.
Oh man. A lot of red fruit.
Oh yeah, man. Man, there is something really, really popping here. I got to figure out what it is.
But this is the fun, right? I mean, this is
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
like people are like, well, you know, like bourbon, it's corn, it's a rye or a wheat, and then malted barley, and then it's like, well, hold up. If you understand kind of like how wood aging works, and that everything kind of starts out as vodka. I mean, sorry, it does. Yeah. Just where it's a clear grain spirit.
Neutral grain spirit.
You know, is you get so much out of that wood, you get so much out of the location in the warehouse, and you get so much out of time. But you can dial that in. You can dial into what you really like. And it shows. And that's what I love about Four Roses is I was never like a huge Four Roses fan until I started this experiment with the single barrels. I was like, wow. Like if I want something spicy, like let's say for a mixed drink or on a daily drinker, I can find it simply by looking for floor 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And then if I wanted something sweeter, whether it be a daily drink or a mixed drink, I could just look at the label and find it, even though it's the same mash bill.
And I think of my wife right now, like she would love this. She wouldn't like the first floor.
Yeah.
She wouldn't like it. It's just it would
Too
be
spicy.
it's burning. I hate it. But this would be this isn't this is pleasant. Yeah.
But think of the person who goes, I don't like Four Roses. No, that's not true. You haven't had the right level.
Right.
Of
Four
Four Roses.
Roses.
You haven't tried the right
That's
one.
a good point,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
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 This
Well,
one has
this
a
is a good-
very specific note in it.
Well, it's a good call too. With if you're a bourbon drinker and you drink by yourself, or you just go out to bars and grab drinks, nothing wrong with that. That's great.
Yeah.
But there's something special to do when you have a group of buddies hanging out and you grab 4 or 5 bottles and you either do them blind or you just taste them and talk about them, because it really intensifies the experience. Because you may say, I hate Woodford Double Oak, and then you do a blind of them, you're like, oh damn, that was really good. I had a preconceived notion of something there. And then as you talk about it, then it can actually intensify experience for everybody involved. So
there is something.
what are you laughing at me about? Am I
I'm
slurring
laughing.
my voices?
You talked about blind. I was going to pick on Scotty.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
No, it's okay. Hey, look, I still got to put a little bit of blame on that damn beard oil.
Hey, you can do that, but we
It
can also
fucked me.
say that the
It
master
was
guy
bad.
over here only
So,
got one right.
I only
so
got
it's
one
fine.
right the first time.
I got
but I at least got
0.
one.
I
I
got
feel
0.
really good about my 4 for 4, but that
So
was
this-
questionable too. It was
This has
ass for
something extremely. I'm thinking like the really, really like before you taste it, the smell of like honeydew, like green melon.
Yeah.
It's super, super clean.
Yeah.
Like it's really a bright vegetable or fruit kind of not quite fresh
Not
cut
citrus. Yeah.
grass. It's cleaner than that. It's something really,
Even
really
on
nice.
the palate,
Like
it kind of
honeydew.
feels like you just ate muskmelon.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
it's just
cantaloupe,
but
whatever,
not
yeah.
not those like after you take a big old bite and you got the real sugary kind of deep. No, it's that
just what's
aroma.
hanging on the tongue.
Yeah.
Which could bode for the sweetness of the fourth floor versus the first floor
Exactly.
spice variants.
And this one's
Well, the
fourth
sugar
floor,
comes
right?
in as soon as you taste
That's
it. The
fourth
sugar
floor,
all pops forward. But yeah, it's
This is a good call. I think this is in the melon range on
Yes.
all of it.
Yes.
Palate, nose, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the sweetness, the melon sweetness when you drink it, but that nose is
It does.
absolutely.
I mean, honestly, this would pair great with just a cantaloupe in the summer.
Well,
Yeah.
like Rob's
Yeah.
saying too, like he wasn't a huge Four Roses fan because of,
Floral.
the weird floral things. We talked
Yeah.
about makers a lot last week with Isaiah because, like,
Same thing for me on that one,
too.
too. Yeah.
Scott and Will were having palpitations with the numbers that we were throwing out because they were talking about all of the different
Makers,
all the different numbers they have, and it sounded like
FAEs,
a quadratic equation.
yeah.
License plates.
BPs,
Yeah, license plates.
Or
Everything
1187
makers,
Z69. Like, what the fuck?
Bingo.
What is that?
By the way, I want to call this out in the room right now. Isaiah, you suck, first of all. Come on. This
You're only saying
dude
that
looks
'cause
like
he's
a
not here.
douchebag with this hat on, but a scally on him looks badass. I don't want to hear this
a
shit
good hat.
anymore.
Oh, the
That's
scally.
right. The scally. The scally
We had to wear 'em.
madness.
Yeah.
They made us wear them last
Liking
night.
these
so.
hats.
Well, we were scally free last episode. Nobody complained. So
Yeah. Assholes.
This reminds me of like
Let's
a
do a
birthday
table
party.
vote. Scally, yay or nay?
Yay.
Yay.
I'm gonna say yay.
Yay.
I'm sideways.
I'm neutral.
I like the scallies.
Scallies are. I'm
I
telling
don't
you right
know
now,
what a
if you
scally
never
is.
worn
That
a
right
scally,
there.
wear it once, you're going to go, these are the most comfortable hats you've ever worn in your life.
Well, tell me
head
what a
hug.
scally is, because I have no idea.
This.
Oh, that's a
That's
scally.
cap.
That's a scally.
Irish
It
style
looks,
hats.
it
Irish
looks like a
Scotch.
comfortable hat.
They're very comfortable.
It's a head hug.
I mean, what I always say is like, if you're immature, you can wear, trucker hats, Isaiah, and flat bills. If you're
I'm
mature,
always
you wear
wearing a
these.
cap.
Right there.
I'm gonna come to
Available at your
Isaiah's
final third
rescue and
location.
say there's nothing wrong with cool trucker hats.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
it is
They
a
died in
age,
the
there
70s,
is
they're
an
back.
age gap here. I'm just gonna say that
I've got my
There's an
fair
age
share.
gap.
What's that guy's name from that 70s show? Always wears the trucker hats.
Is that red? No, not red.
No. The shit. He's married to Mila Kunis, right?
Ashton
Ashton
Kutcher.
Kutcher.
Ashton
Oh,
Kutcher.
Ashton
Yeah.
Kutcher, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
I'm
on the
like
does
say,
the-
you're like
the-
Ashton
I met him
Kutcher.
years
Yeah, that's
ago.
well. I kind of figured that he was probably a huge Ashton Kutcher
probably-
fan.
yeah, I'm sure he
he's
is.
I love that guy. He probably has. Isaiah has a man crush on Ashton Kutcher for
Ashton
sure.
Kutcher and what?
Oh, boy, that's gonna be a
Napoleon
short.
Dynamite.
What was the man crush thing on fucking
Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
That
will
was
say,
over
man,
Christmas.
Ryan Reynolds. I mean, whether you like him or not, the dude is freaking hilarious. Between
like-
him and
who
Hugh
doesn't?
Jackman, they're so
Who
hilarious.
doesn't?
I love
think-
Ryan Reynolds.
How
So
could you
funny.
not? You really don't like Ryan Reynolds?
He's like Maker's Mark. I just don't watch him enough.
That must be
He was,
it.
he was
Yeah.
in that. He was in that Blade movie. He was
Blade
just kind of
Trinity.
like that. Dick.
Yes. Yeah, he
You know,
was.
who-
Played
Yeah.
by Wilson and
But he was
worked with the mouth.
Yes.
He was a funny dick. You know, it was like okay, and he plays the same character everywhere he goes.
Oh yeah.
but
yeah,
he's
quite a bit.
hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
That Wolverine Deadpool movie was so
fantastic.
stupidly
Yeah.
hilarious.
It
I'm like,
was the dumbest freaking movie I've ever
Coming
seen.
from
It
the
was
guy that
great.
slept
Yeah.
through
It was
2/3 of
as
the
bad
movie.
as short scene.
when I watched it the
it's
second
all
time, I was
slapstick
fine.
comedy.
Well,
It's
we're
like-
starting to get
Mike's over
we're
there
starting to
trying
get
to
breeding
wake him
figured
up through
out.
the
Doesn't
movie.
like Shoresy. Doesn't like Deadpool. I mean,
Shores is the
man.
funniest thing
Yeah.
ever. Oh
Huh?
my gosh!
My wife and I couldn't get through fucking 10 minutes of Shoresy.
So you didn't like Shoresy?
Hell no, I did not like it at all. And maybe it's because I'm not a hockey guy yet. I'm
Give your
getting
balls a
there.
tug.
Baby
Give your balls
steps. Give me another year. All right, give me another
Well,
year.
we'll get you there. We'll get you
Well,
there.
that's what we appreciate
So-
about you.
Tit fucker.
Talk about talk about hockey. I didn't realize Colin was out of the lineup. Is he
Yeah,
hurt?
he's hurt.
He's
Oh,
hurt.
Yeah,
that
he got
sucks.
put on reserve. Yeah,
Saw that last
IR.
night. They could have used him. They need someone.
He
shooting
needs
at
to
the
come
net.
They
recover
really
in the
could.
lounge with us then.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I wasn't at the game last night, but
Shout out to the body slam.
it was Chris
dude.
Cameron, wasn't it?
Dude,
Chris Cameron, 6'4", big dude, and he gets into a fight with a guy. And I saw that this morning. I'm
Yes.
like, oh, that's awesome.
That's
He-
not that number 39 guy.
no,
is
he's
it?
55.
55.
Okay.
Yes.
So he's fighting up against the boards, and
Yeah.
he goes low and just picks the dude up off his
Boom.
skates and
Damn.
body slams him.
Hooks the leg, picks him completely up off the ground, and just slams
took him down.
It
That
wasn't
was
as good
great.
as Colin's body slam, but it was
That
right
was-
there.
It was good.
It was really, really good.
So Colin, the funny thing about Cameron was Cameron actually came off the bench and beat the hell out of a guy that actually knocked Llewellyn out.
Straight
Yeah.
off the
And
bench.
right off the bench because none of the players in the ice
And
were
got
doing anything
five
about
games.
it. He got 5 games, which is part of the rules. I
he's
get
back.
it. Immediately, the first shift back off the 5-game suspension, he comes out and gets into a 5-minute major.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
man.
every game since, almost every time he's on the ice, he's throwing punches. I'm like, I don't know what's going on with the camera, but I guess he's going out strong.
You know, we've got a good team. We just don't have scorers.
Can't put it together.
We just, I
That's
mean,
where I feel like they missed Colin because Colin's been shooting like crazy.
he
this
has
year.
been,
Yeah,
and
but
I
we have a
think he
passing
makes the rest of them.
He does.
Like our pass control is not good.
Yeah, well,
It's just
it's
it's
the
like-
receiving.
Yeah.
We're not
It's
receiving the puck well.
That's also part
Yeah,
of
we missed-
ECHL too.
Dude, we missed 5 goal opportunities
Yes.
on
Yeah.
Friday night.
Yeah.
Because of missed receiving.
pass
The pass
receiving.
was perfect. It was right there, and these weren't one timers. These were just
Bobbled it.
opportunities, 2
Yeah.
skates,
Pass in the
flick it
zone,
in,
go.
and it'd be a
Yeah.
goal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even if you get 25% of them, you're talking about 2 goals out of 5 opportunities,
Yep.
right? I mean, it's
yeah.
it's very frustrating. I know there's some chatter out there on some of the fan groups that's just frustration.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. They'll get there.
They'll figure it out.
The season keeps going, and all the new names. I mean, it's what happens. We're in the ECHL, so that's Colts game's on there.
What happened?
I
Well,
don't
they're
know.
coming back. They were down
I need Pittman
3
to score a
scores
touchdown.
almost, and now they're
28,
coming
that's
back.
not bad.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to sit
Of course,
over
they
there.
are
'cause I'd
playing
be
the
staring at that
Giants,
whole
and
time.
of
so-
course, it doesn't matter now because they're out.
No,
No,
it
they're playing
does.
the
It still
Jags
does.
today.
Oh, I thought
They're-
they were out with the
No,
Chargers.
No,
They
there's
have
a
to
chance.
beat
They
the
still have a
Giants.
chance.
Okay.
So you're telling me
Well,
there's a chance?
There's the
Still
chance.
1 billionth of a chance
Mathematically,
that
there's
they
a
may make it.
chance.
Well, I need
No.
Pittman
But they
Jr.
have to
score a
win this
touchdown.
game. If they don't win this game, forget it. It's done. Yeah, they got to win out. So
This
Yeah.
is the Colts every year.
Yeah.
If you're not
Well,
from around here, the
every
Colts
year
every
since
year.
Peyton was gone.
Since
Yeah.
Peyton's gone, it's like
Their luck,
they got a
was
chance, but
gone.
we have a
Yeah.
lot of help we need to get. So
My $5 parlay
I'm gonna
depends
smile
on
and
Pittman
nod.
scoring.
Well, I certainly hope that Ballard's out after this season.
Shout out to the background noise from CCX.
Well, yeah,
Appreciate
it. Yeah.
But back to the fuel, man. I just want to thank Ari. He let me his tickets last.
It was like 2
week
weeks
or two.
ago.
Yeah,
last week?
and
yeah.
His seats are 2 rows or
Yeah,
off,
I'm second.
off the
I'm
glass.
second row.
nice.
They're,
Well, they
it's-
asked
the
me-
experience is just completely different.
Oh,
It is.
dude,
It is.
yeah. Well, they asked me if I wanted first row because I mean I could have gotten first row just as easily. I'm like, no, because I won't be able to see everything first row. Like second row, I'll be able to see the action,
Yeah.
and so far that's been true. Like that's
Yeah.
it's. I think they've been better seats.
And I will say, the new arena has actually done a really good job because there's not a bad seat in the house.
Yeah.
No, there's
I mean,
not. You're-
our attack zone seats for the lounge here are right behind one of the goals. And if you were at the fairgrounds, you're 15 yards before the seats start, and it's a lot further away. You're right on the ice now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what Lisa liked about that was she could see the plays developing from the backside, and it actually helped her understand a little bit more about the game. Personally, I like about where you are, Scott. On about 12 rows or 10 rows up, whatever, 8 rows, 14, right on the side. I like that because you can see everything happening on the ice. But there's nothing like getting down on the glass and having at least a game on the glass
Scott
sometime.
yeah.
It's a
strategically
blast.
behind the opponent's team bench.
Strategically
That's
behind
right.
the fuel fan that's not a fuel fan.
Well,
that's
Sorry,
just
but
chirping.
I'm just going to call this out right
Do
now.
it
Okay,
now.
It's on the
we're
list.
gonna we
Find
are
out
going
what
to
his
have a
name
discussion
is.
about this.
It
I don't
needs
know
to be
this guy's
said.
name, but I got a
We-
problem.
we
Okay,
need his
I got
name.
a serious fucking problem. Obviously, this is a big deal to me. Okay, I go there and I am very, very cautious. I don't cuss at the games.
No.
At least not yelling. Okay, I'm not yelling F words or anything like that. I don't say anything vulgar or obscene. I am loud. Okay, I mean, look, I do all the voiceover stuff for the podcast. I obviously have a voice that projects really well, and I yell at the refs. And I yell at the opposing team, and I try to think of creative things that are not cussing and
Drop
not
the puck,
vulgar.
55, drop the
right?
puck.
Exactly.
Oh my God,
Drop
the
the puck.
refs.
The ECHL refs are horrible. So there's this guy, and I can't figure out if he's a half season or a full season ticket holder, but he started making hand gestures at me that were, really rude. Like getting upset at me because I'm being a fan.
Yeah.
And look, if you can't handle fans at a live sporting event,
Yeah.
don't go.
This guy couldn't
Like,
have
don't go.
He's never been to a high school game, period.
Right?
Come on.
I mean, give me a break.
my
And you know, I hope somebody calls out like that I'm the guy and tells him, oh yeah, you got talked about on the podcast. Let me tell you, old man, you better shut that shit down. All right? I'm telling you right now, shut it down.
You know, Mike, that's
All
what I
right?
appreciate about him.
I will push you in front of a bus.
I am sick of
This
it,
will
man.
be resolved.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
We're
Let's
only
sit
5
there in
whiskeys
your
in now.
seat and don't cheer and don't do anything and don't say anything. That's fine. You can even lean over at your wife and be like, that guy's a loudmouth asshole. That's fine. You're not going to bother me. But you start making gestures at me and pulling that kind of crap, I'm going to start getting upset.
Yeah.
So,
And louder.
okay.
He this old man turned around and he went,
Yeah.
I'll take your
On
son.
a positive note,
On a positive note, bourbon.
We are on.
Bourbon. Okay.
this is a caramel vanilla bomb. The
So
six,
what?
the
Six.
six.
We're on the
Sixth
6th floor now.
The sixth
Yeah.
floor.
Lighter.
This is as high as
Oh.
you can get. This is a Denver. This is a Denver high
This definitely almost has that,
from Kentucky.
what is that kind of sugary, like
Corn pops.
bubble
This is-
gum.
this
some of
is
the
corn pops.
Yeah,
I can
corn
see corn
pops.
pops.
Confectionery to me.
Little bit more
Confectionery.
caramel.
Sugar,
Yeah.
corn pops.
Maltodextrose.
You get a lot of sugar.
But this reminds me of the first time I ever had a sixth floor, Four Roses. I was like, oh my gosh, this is corn syrup, corn pops, just vanilla and caramel and everything sweet. And like the rye is absolutely in the background. It's
Yeah.
It's that off-brand
it's pushed out of the
Tootsie Roll.
way.
And
Yep.
totally different than any of the ones we tried
But
so
think
far.
of the first floor and how rye forward that was with some of that floral note, which would make sense if you ignored the barrel.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if all you thought about was the barrel, the caramel, vanilla, sugary notes that you would get of a lot of wood exposure minus the oak. And
Yeah.
you just get it on the sixth floor. And it's just,
I mean, honestly, this is a crushable one here.
yeah.
Because
I'd
it
like
does
to
not
blend
have
them.
any heat at
No,
all
yeah.
to it.
Yeah,
I thought
it
about that
doesn't.
too.
I'd like to
The
blend
first
them.
and sixth floor, kind of blend them together and get the balance.
I'd even put some of that fourth floor in there and just figure out like what would be, the
Yeah.
various quantities, the percentages.
Kind of do like a 40, 30, 30.
Get the graduated cylinder out and do
This
some testing with it.
This is a great exercise.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I love it. I
It
just
is.
love doing this.
Yeah.
And try it at home. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, that's the
experiment at
thing.
home if
You could do this at home.
What's
It'd be very
MSRP on a bottle of
inexpensive.
Say
this?
these
Like
are what,
50 bucks.
50?
Yeah,
Yeah,
50 bucks.
yeah.
And you're going to get what, 17 to 22 pours, depending on how you do this.
Yeah.
Out of a bottle. So you could easily do this responsibly.
Very
And
responsible.
Yeah, you get
It's
12
up to you.
2-ounce
get a
pours.
you can get a first floor
Ones.
pick pretty easily, and you get a sixth floor pick generally easily. I got the sixth floor at Sobro. The first floor I just happen to have. But you can even do a second floor. It's going to be pretty close.
Honestly,
Yeah.
Rob, this would be a really fun flight to do.
Flight. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking the same thing.
It would be
for-
super cool to have
Because
like
this is going to be very educational.
Yeah.
And
when
now
you're
that you
done, you'll be
freaking
on the
said
floor.
corn pops, I can't get it out of my mind.
Yeah.
Corn pops?
That's so corn pops.
Yeah.
Like,
Gotta have them.
I
It's
grew
almost
up
like a
eating
corn
those.
pop
Yep.
with a little bit of caramel on it.
Little hit of caramel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so good.
You get that burnt corn pop in there every
Yeah.
now and then.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
go get sugar.
It's like
Well,
that
there's
one. You're
corn
like,
pop
ooh,
really
this-
a thing?
It always
Yeah.
goes back
Damn
to
it.
crap food when there, doesn't it? It's like, oh,
I
so
fructose
bad.
corn syrup. Yeah.
America.
blueberries.
That's what this is. This is an American pour.
Yeah.
Right here. Everything
good
you
one.
can't have in Europe.
Until RFK Jr. gets in, then yeah.
It's all right. It just won't. Well, they won't
Should have
cut
said
it. With,
that out loud.
they won't. They won't cut it with fluorinated water. It's
Yeah,
There you go.
There you go.
All right, my glass is empty. What do we got
All right.
next?
Oh, you got to do. Oh, you already on the. You already did the 6? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
6.
He said it was crushable.
Yeah.
Was
It was
there-
crushable.
Didn't we have a sixth floor full cask strength?
Yeah, I think
Cast
you
strength.
said there was a cast strength
The
up
left.
I
there.
think my Satya.
The left.
The far
one on the
left,
left.
there's
Is
a
that sixth floor?
60.9.
That's a 5.
Well, it's close enough.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the. So that's the That's
Right
the-
under
that's
6.
That's the crown pick called Satya, and that's
Okay.
the,
Good job with math there,
that's
Mike.
fifth
Yeah.
floor.
Because 5 is 1 less than 6.
Yeah, I did
Wow.
Good job.
It's like two more than 3.
Math is hard.
Your
did
second
it.
grade teacher would be so proud of you.
it. She
Mike's
would.
not good at math.
I'm not good with numbers. Just a skosh. That's perfect.
He would have told you the number of milliliters, but he doesn't know.
Who needs this one?
I do.
Here you go.
So that's
Here's the cork.
So that should be
that's funny
fifth
because
floor.
one of the
So it should
videos
still-
that showed up
it
from
should
last
still
year
be
was me
pretty
measuring
sweet.
water.
But this is the fun thing. Like if you've never done a single barrel before, you should ask these kinds of questions. Like, what floor of the rickhouse did it come from? What was the size of the barrel?
Don't
What
sip
you
this
know,
yet.
like because you can get a lot more oak influence depending on the size of the barrel. You know,
So-
knowing the mash bill, those sorts of things make you enjoy this stuff even more.
Yeah.
From the same distiller.
So that's really interesting because I kind of just ignored that for a long time because I was
Mm-hmm.
like, man, I geek out about bourbon, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, oh, I really like that one that's from, Rickhouse K
Yeah.
on the third floor when it's 5 barrels deep. Like
Yeah.
I'm not the distiller, right?
Okay.
I'm not the blender.
Don't
but
drink
this is
this
good to
yet.
know
Yeah.
about just the floor. Just look at
Yeah.
the floor. That's good enough.
This is the best nose of any of them so far.
Yeah.
The nose does not have that floral thing going that I don't like, but it's got some depth to the nose that I really, really enjoy.
Meat.
Yeah, I like
it's
it.
good.
Yeah.
It has a meaty quality to the nose.
And on the palate, it's way more balanced than all the other ones so
Yeah.
far. Yeah.
You know
Kind
what
of
I
a bit
get?
of meat fat.
Oh,
That's what you're thinking.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I know you
really
didn't get
good.
the floral out of it. I actually got floral, some floral on the nose. I won't say helio.
I didn't get much,
but
but I'm smoking too.
I got rock candy.
oh
on
yeah,
the,
that sugar. Oh yeah.
rock candy on the palate. Damn rock candy.
Yeah.
Is this the 100 proofer?
120.
This is
120.
120.
Almost it's 60.9, I
so
think.
you wouldn't know
Yeah,
it.
this is 120. What 122?
You wouldn't know it on
Plus
that one.
122.
60.9. So what?
121.8. Yeah. Math.
That's a good one.
Very, very good. I like that one a lot. That one's right up there
Software
with that
engineering.
OESK pick for me.
Ooh.
It's right there.
Yeah, that's really good.
What's the recipe on that one?
Oh,
What is
yeah,
this
okay.
OESK?
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, same
Oh,
recipe.
there you go.
Same recipe, different pick.
I
That
got-
makes sense.
I got when OBSQ or whatever, the one that's supposed to be like dark fruit. I've been looking for those forever, and it was the second floor. So it was still a little spicy, but it was still sweet. Man, I want a 6th floor version of that. I've just not been able to find it.
I'll be curious because I just got the sheet from our distributor about all the Four Roses coming up, and I ended up buying a case of the OESO. Never had the OESO. They didn't have any OASKs, otherwise I would have got that. But
Yeah.
I'm anxious to try that out to see what that one letter at the end, what that means, what that does to the whiskey.
If you go to the distillery in Lawrenceburg, they have been really cranking out their single barrels there that you can pick, and all the recipes they have them just in the back corner. You can just kind of go through them, look for the recipe you want, look for the warehouse.
those at
or
100?
The Rick floor you want.
yeah,
Are those all at 100?
No,
proof?
these are the cast strengths. They
strength.
range in
okay.
age, so you could have some at 9 years, some at 11 years, some at 10 years. So
That's new, isn't that though?
yeah, that
They're
hasn't
starting
been
to let
recently.
you choose
now, the last time I was there, it was basically last January or February, I walked in and they had them all on the floor in the back, and you just kind of went through them and picked the ones you wanted.
yeah.
And it was pretty cool. I mean,
So I think once again, we're kind of dispelling some preconceptions that we've had about Four Roses, right? And we've done that a number of times on this show. Where it's like, oh, we don't like weeders. Well, that's not true.
That's
not true.
There's certain weeders that we find that we don't care for.
Yep,
But
yep.
there's certainly weeders that we really, really enjoy. Same thing, Four Roses. We've kind of not really hit it. We haven't really talked bad about it or anything, but it's kind of been one of those, it's kind of had its day and it came and went. But
Say this
Ari,
one
thank
is
you
the-
for this because this, I think, really,
Yeah, this one is the
It's been fun.
OASK.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah, that's that recipe.
And
I love
OBSK
that
was
recipe.
traditionally like the one that I always loved.
gravitated towards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But this is
By the way, the Colts they just stopped them again. They're only down by 1 score right now.
well, there you go.
and we got a whole quarter left.
And you
I
said they
would
were
love
down
us
by
to end up
3 a
in
minute ago.
the playoffs, but
I don't know that it'd mean much
It
other
won't
than
matter
just
much.
you got to the
well, it'd be
playoffs.
great to be in the playoffs.
You get in the playoffs, there's
I
a
think
lot of
that'd
money
be
involved
nice.
in that.
You know, I mean, just
Well, and Richardson
for,
needs
for
that playoff
momentum of the
experience.
team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For the momentum of the team. Yeah, like to feel good about. All right, all things considered, in a rebuilding year, we made it. So like from a leadership perspective, I see it working out really well. If we don't make it, that sucks. And I think that's where you've got the issues with
Ballard.
Do you keep Ballard, but do you keep Richardson? 'Cause no one's gonna get rid of Irsay, right? Because he owns it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm not bitter.
The good
come
thing
off
is
that way.
football's almost over. That means hockey's
Larry
on,
Bird and I
baby.
have not gotten along
Well,
well.
we got to be coming up to the All-Star break soon, right?
Yep,
I mean,
we're
it's
getting
got to be
close.
coming close, and that's
Well, no, we got what is it here in a couple weeks? We have the 4-country challenge.
oh yeah, that's
Canada,
right.
America was
Finland or something.
Finland and
I don't remember who the
shit, I don't
fourth
remember
is.
the one, Sweden maybe or
Might be Finland,
Oh,
Sweden.
So that's coming up too. So that'll be a lot of fun to see. Honestly, everyone's saying, "Oh, USA is going to win this." I'm like, have you seen the Canadian roster?
Yeah.
Holy crap! McKinnon, McCarr, McDavid, those 3 alone. But I will say the one thing that the Americans have is they have better goalies. The goalies on the American side have been better, so it's gonna be fun.
So I wonder about the
I have to talk
Winter
about hockey 'cause
Classic.
I love hockey.
I looked at the Winter Classic. Janelle and I looked so hard at going. It's going to be mid 40s, rainy. It's going to be nasty.
Is that in Chicago?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
is it the Blackhawks and the Avalanche?
The Blues.
Blues.
So I did get a Blues.
Avalanche
I
are
got a
playing
Winter
one-
Classic sweater from the Blues.
Yeah, that's cool.
Janelle absolutely raked me over the coals for that. She was like,
should've
"You
got
are not buying another sweater."
Why didn't you buy the Blackhawks one?
The Blackhawks one is awesome, but I was at St. Louis.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, so
You
they were
there.
selling the-
Get a
yeah,
pair. I
yeah.
got you.
I
I got you.
almost wore my fuel red, white, and blue jersey, and I was like, I'll wait till game.
Yeah, it's a good one. That's definitely a good one. Well, I think we've got a few minutes left here. We're
Yeah, let's
getting
wrap
close
her
to
up.
we're getting close, but should we do, because we're smoking the 601 green?
Yeah.
Should we do one quick more pour
With the
of the Jack?
Yeah.
And talk about that, because
So just so as we pour this,
we debated on what the pairing of the month was going to be. If it was going to be this, and we decided to go with the Aladino, which I
Yeah.
think was the right move.
I think it's the right move. Yeah.
But we did want to see what this was going to be like.
Yeah, so if you come out here anytime in January, you get our Jack Daniels barrel pick and any of the Aladino Corojo Reservas. You get 10% off as the pairing of the month. So it's a good way to try something though, and see if we're full of shit or if you like what we said. So
Yeah.
Comment. Let us
Well, I've
know.
had it
Yes,
before.
please.
Yeah, tell us if you think that we're stupid. Yeah.
I'm
We
really
need,
excited.
we need more
about this bit.
comments. We need more people giving us some feedback.
We need more
Yeah.
interaction. So
More
there's-
Everybody get on the
interactions.
Lick app.
yeah.
And
Yep.
Right. Go to
it
the
down
YouTube
there.
channel. Go to something.
But take a look. I mean, that's what was it? 1-6, right?
yeah, 106. Yeah,
So you're
Yeah.
looking at warehouse 1.
warehouse 1, 6th floor.
But 6th floor. So
Yep.
you're probably going to find sweeter notes. This is something that's really interesting. So, like, when you're looking for single barrel selections, like, what is it going to taste like? So you could actually, simply by looking at the numbers of it, figure out, okay, I know the mash bill.
yeah,
Is it going to be grain forward or is it going to be less than grain forward?
Yep.
So you could start with, okay, I don't know if the warehouse really tells you that much, because I think you'd have to have the history of the warehouse. Like if you ever go to MGP and, Will, were you at the MGP pick?
I didn't make that one yet.
Okay. So the MGP pick with Club Marzipan, we got to tour all of MGP, and they have warehouses that are separated by concrete floors. So some that are wood, some that are concrete, etc. Where you could see a few floors up being wood, others being separated by firewalls, effectively, of concrete. And you kind of get a feel for whether anything would be sweet or not. You can simply take a look at the values of, forget the warehouse. How high up are they?
Yeah.
And you can get a good feel for it. Is it going to be grain forward, meaning rye or wheat, etc., or is it going to be sweeter as you get higher up? And it's a wonderful experiment.
yeah.
Well, I will say this cigar,
It goes really well.
it goes
with
really,
this.
so well.
really well.
Yeah.
So this is one of those pours that actually works well all across the board.
Yeah.
I could
Brings
see
out
this actually working with a like a Cameroon,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
something
Yeah.
milder. But it goes well with the 601 green, which is full bodied. But it's full bodied, earthier, richer, spicier. Where the full bodied Cameron or Corojo Reserva is going to be more of the baking spice notes
Yep.
and all those things in there.
You know
we
what
did
I
find
get
it
between
didn't,
these two?
it didn't work as well with some of the high pepper.
Yeah.
Apple
Yeah.
strudel.
Yeah.
Oh
Apple
yeah.
Ooh, apple strudel.
Between
nice.
the two, I think it pairs well together. And
You're not a
that's
fat
what I
guy,
get.
but you talk like a fat
Bro.
guy.
Strudel.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
much.
underneath this shirt. I tell you that.
Oh, we did get some call outs that people wanted us to show our boobies on the podcast.
You'll have to
That's
tune into the
that's
last
next
episode.
time.
Haven't we
That's
done
the,
that
that's the
before?
episode I'm not at.
That might have to be the
How about
membership
just-
episodes.
Members
Just
only.
tune into
members
the
only.
one at the racetrack. They're all out.
Well,
Yeah,
when we
that's
did the
true.
West Fork podcast, they all tried to get naked at the end, pretty much.
I was pretty close.
Hey, I'm really surprised we didn't do it at the
Hacienda.
Florida.
Oh,
No, the
Florida.
Oh, yeah,
There's no
Orange Beach
telling what
one.
was going on with that crew, with y'all.
Yeah,
It was a little warm
down
at the
in
Orange Beach one.
Ooh, it was hot down there.
I still got some sweet notes out of this, like a lot of sweet notes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely
that
got
rye.
sweetness to it. Yeah.
I mean, you have to take into consideration the grain, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a rye whiskey. It's not a bourbon.
Correct.
So you have to take into account rye spice for what it is, plus the level in the rick house.
Yeah.
So if it's wheat, you're going to see more floral notes, maybe even some mocha notes. Rye, you're going to see some spice and some cherry notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then the sweetness of those is going to go up as you go higher through the rick house.
To the
Yeah.
Rick
So
House,
this
yep.
is 70% rye, 18%
Corn.
corn,
Yeah.
Corn.
corn, and then 12 malted barley.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's going through the
Yeah.
Lincoln County process. So
Right.
it's a totally,
Right.
it's charcoal filtered out.
Exactly.
So it's, it's
beautiful
gonna-
is what
it's
it
not
is.
it's not going to punch you like a
Right.
95.5 would.
Right,
From
right.
MGP.
Well,
and
I'll
that's
say-
what's nice about the ryes. If you have a Old Forester rye, or if you have like MGP rye, for example,
Yep.
those have that specific rye note. With the Tennessee process or the Jack process, you have that caramel kind of thing going through it because of the charcoal filtration.
Yeah.
That actually pulls the more flavors. That's where I think you get the banana a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then Old Forester gets the banana. I'd be curious to find out
Yeah,
why they get that so
I think
much.
that's yeast. I mean, I
Has
think
to be
that's really
yeast.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
yeast byproduct.
Yeah.
With the yeast strain they use. So
The banana definitely, I think, comes to the yeast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's those esters.
Esters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Same thing you got a beer.
so definitely get in here, get this pour,
Before
the
it's
Jack
gone.
Daniels rye, because it's gonna go fast. I think you're
It's
already
damn
through.
good.
Aren't you
I
already
would-
through like 3 bottles?
Four.
and if you
Four.
don't and if
Yeah.
you don't want to drink it neat, I would highly recommend doing it in an old fashioned or a Sazerac.
I did.
And
an
I
old
think
fa-
it would be phenomenal.
I've not done a Sazerac.
No.
I'll do that next. 'cause
Do-
I
definitely
need
do
more
the-
alcohol.
Definitely do the pairing though, because this 601 combined with that, especially on like the retro,
Oh yeah.
just explodes
Yeah.
with a lot of notes
Yeah.
that you don't necessarily get individually
Well, here's the great thing. You go
between
with
the bourbon
the
or the cigar.
you go the Corojo Reserva.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more expensive cigar, right? So start with that, and then you finish that one. The great thing about this, it's a little bit smaller.
Little guy.
It's
Yeah.
a little faster, right? It doesn't take as long. It's a little cheaper,
Yeah.
so
yeah.
you can kind of get both of those, and you're getting 10% off when you do the pairing.
Yeah.
Right.
So even going back and getting that extra cigar after, right?
Yeah.
From a value perspective, you're gonna get a lot from it. It's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really
Bang for
really
your
great.
buck is definitely hard on this
Yeah.
Yes.
comparing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna be doing this again.
Yeah.
Being here
me
for
too.
an Avs game.
Yeah.
and
Me
I
too,
was just
Scotty.
thinking
This,
the same
this is
thing.
great. I
This
love
is
this.
really, really good. And we talked about it. We went back and forth. We weren't sure which one to make, but
Yeah.
Love it.
The good thing is I feel like this whiskey will go with about any cigar. I mean, if you did a mild Connecticut with
Even a
creaminess
Connecticut
in there,
all the way to like
it'll work
Fuminoche.
good.
It's
I
still
feel
like
like
gonna,
just the pepper bomb ones. I thought they kind of overwashed the
Well,
whiskey
the
a little bit.
Fuminoche did not go
The
as
Fuma,
well.
and I didn't think the Padron 26 hurt it, but I
Probably
don't
hurt
think
it.
it helped
It
it.
didn't
didn't
help
help.
it. They were
Correct.
Just, it
They were
was-
just neutral.
They
yeah.
kind of canceled out some things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But
yeah.
the Fuminoche, some of those that would be like just crazy over the top.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably the Sumatra might even be a little. The Sumatra
Maybe a
could
little
work.
heavy.
It
Could
could be
work.
good.
Yeah.
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 but definitely the pairing that's set up as a baseline
spot.
is your entry point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely go from there and build on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And get your discount. Get your 10% off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why
Come
not,
on.
right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we're all about discounts.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, make sure you
So,
get a membership program
get your membership.
too. Yeah.
Jump in there, even if not in membership, still get your pairing of the month. So you're still gonna
Yeah.
get a little bit of discount.
So memberships are still available until the end of January. If you want to come in there, come in and inquire. Send us a message if you need some details. We can't put them out here, but we'll give you some more details on that.
Definitely get the Lick app.
Yes.
Get the Lick app.
Yep.
Yeah, Ari, tell us where can we
LIQ.
find you at and Lick and everything.
Social media.
Live at LikeQ.live. And there's a big link for get the app. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
can find me at Cocky Wolverine on Instagram.
You can find me at Scotty D Smokes.
find me at both the visuals, Spencer Lee's, and don't forget to follow the Final Third podcast.
Yep. I'm everywhere. Final Third Cigar.
Moto Photo Will on Instagram.
Heck yeah.
Well, thanks
Cheers,
a lot.
guys.
Cheers,
Thanks a
everybody.
lot.
All right, appreciate you, buddy.
Cheers,
Ari.
y'all.
Cheers
Thanks,
to you,
Ari.
brother.
Appreciate it.
Cheers to all of you.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Happy New Year.
Bye, Mom. Peace.